Chapter 1. Reincarnated as the Golden Earth Dragon King, target Yu Shaogang. Sunset Forest. Deep within an underground cave, a pair of golden vertical pupils suddenly snapped open, revealing a hint of playfulness and calculation. Finally, he's here. Yu Jingcheng exhaled a breath of scorching dragon breath, his massive dragon head lifting slightly. His mental force locked onto the stumbling figure on the ground. It had been a full year since he transmigrated into this Golden Earth Dragon King. Over the past year, Yu Jingcheng hadn't rushed to devour and evolve like other transmigrators. Nor had he foolishly run to the Stardow Great Forest to seek the protection of the Silver Dragon King. Yu Jingcheng, from the mouths of spirit masters entering the Sunset Forest, had figured out the current timeline. It was roughly 30 years before the start of the Douai plot. The Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall, Qian Zunji, was in his prime, and Bibi Dong was about to make her mark. Furthermore, that undying old man Qian Douluo presided over the enshrinement hall. Once he leaked his aura, his only fate would be to be turned into a spirit ring and a spirit bone. In the original Douai, there was never any mention of a 100,000-year spirit beast Golden Earth Dragon King. There was only one explanation for that. He would be hunted and killed within these 30 years. As for transforming, cultivating as a human from scratch, having to endure the weakness of childhood, it's practically sticking my neck out for others to chop. Yu Jingcheng snorted coldly in his heart. What I want is to reach the heavens in a single bound. Yu Jingcheng's mental force spread out, staring fixedly at the young man wandering on the outskirts of the forest. He was a young man in his early 20s. His face was stiff, and his expression was dejected. He wore the faded blue and white disciple robes of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, yet he seemed completely out of place. Behind him followed a creature that looked like a pig yet wasn't a pig, and like a dog yet wasn't a dog, grunting as it rooted through the soil. Luo San Pao, and the younger version of the Grandmaster, Yu Shaogang. On the ground. Why does the heavens treat me like this? Yu Shaogang slammed his fist hard against a tree trunk. Blood trickled between his fingers, but he didn't seem to feel the pain. I am the son of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan's sect master. I should have been a favored child of heaven. Why did my spirit mutate into this farting pig? Yu Shaogang looked at Luo San Pao eating blue-silver grass by his feet, his eyes showing undisguised disgust. Just a few days ago, because his spirit power rank had stalled and due to the shame of his spirit, he had suffered countless cold glares and ridicule within the family, finally leaving home in a fit of rage. He swore to make a name for himself. Even if his path as a spirit master had reached its end, he would choose another path to prove himself. But reality was cruel. With only the cultivation of a rank 29 spirit grandmaster, Yu Shaogang found it difficult to move even a single step in the Sunset Forest, let alone hunting spirit beasts to verify his theories. If he hadn't run fast just now, he would have almost become the droppings of a 1,000-year ghost tiger. Am I, Yu Shaogang, destined to be mediocre for a lifetime, to be a piece of trash? Yu Shaogang knelt on the ground in despair, tears mixing with dirt, looking pathetic. Just then, boom, the ground suddenly trembled violently. The surrounding trees shook wildly, and countless birds took flight in terror. A terrifying pressure originating from the depths of the bloodline instantly enveloped a 10-mile radius. What is this aura? Yu Shaogang's face turned pale, his whole body stiff as a rock. Beside him, Luo San Pao was so scared that he collapsed on the ground, losing control of his bowels and letting out a whimpering Luo sound. As a member of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, he was particularly sensitive to dragon-type auras. This pressure was even stronger than his father, that titled Douluo sect master Yu Yuanjun. Roar. Accompanied by a world-shaking dragon roar, the ground ahead exploded. Amidst the swirling dust, a massive golden dragon head slowly emerged. Those majestic golden vertical pupils looked down from above at the tiny Yu Shaogang. 100,000-year spirit beast. Yu Shaogang's mind went blank, with only two words flashing frantically. It's over. Facing an existence of this level, he couldn't even summon the thought of running away. My life is over. Yu Shaogang closed his eyes, waiting for death to arrive. However, the expected bloody maw did not descend. Instead, the violent dragon pressure around him receded like a tide. In its place was a gentle and heavy energy that lightly lifted his body. Young man, An ancient and majestic voice rang directly in his mind. Yu Xiaoging snapped his eyes open, looking at the giant beast before him in disbelief. You can speak. Yu Jingcheng controlled his facial muscles, trying his best to look like a kind old grandfather. Though to Yu Xiaoging, it still looked like a ferocious dragon face. Yu Jingcheng spoke slowly, his tone carrying a perfectly timed hint of regret. I see that you have an extraordinary skeletal structure, and the noble holy dragon of light bloodline flows within you. Why are you so destitute, like a bright pearl covered in dust? Light, holy dragon. Yu Xiaoging was stunned, then smiled bitterly. Senior is mistaken. I am just a piece of trash whose mutation failed. My spirit is just a pig. Foolish. Yu Jingcheng barked, his voice like a great bronze bell. That is no pig, but a regression caused by insufficient energy during the bloodline mutation process. Your body hides the true blood of the Dragon King. As long as there is enough energy to guide it, it can soar to the heavens and transform into a true holy dragon of light. Yu Xiaoging's heart skipped a beat. A true, holy dragon of light. That was the legendary top-tier spirit of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, even surpassing the current Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Senior, is what you say true? I can still be saved. Yu Xiaoging's voice trembled, the despair in his eyes instantly turning into an extreme thirst for power. Yu Jingcheng laughed inwardly, the fish had taken the bait. Yu Jingcheng sighed, a hint of the passage of time showing in his massive dragon eyes. I am the Golden Earth Dragon King, having cultivated for 100,000 years. Regrettably, the heavenly tribulation is approaching, and I know I cannot survive it. I intended to wait for death here, but I didn't expect to encounter a human with a common bloodline origin in my final moments. In truth, the previous Golden Earth Dragon King, because of the dense holy dragon of light bloodline in its body, had only cultivated for tens of thousands of years to reach the 100,000-year level. As for the heavenly tribulation, he just made that up on the fly. Anyway, this, illiterate, Yu Xiaoging wouldn't know. This, perhaps, is the will of heaven. Yu Jingcheng lowered his head, his massive dragon head approaching Yu Xiaoging, his voice full of temptation. Young man, do you want to become strong? Do you want to prove yourself to those clan members who look down on you? Do you want to become a god? These three questions each accurately struck Yu Xiaoging's weakness. Yu Xiaoging's breathing quickened, his face flushed. He fell to his knees with a thud, kowtowing frantically. Yes, I do. I beg Senior to teach me. Good. An imperceptible cold glint flashed in Yu Jingcheng's eyes. My end is near, and my physical body is of no more use. Today, I shall sacrifice my 100,000 years of cultivation to you, helping your spirit undergo a second awakening and forging a divine body. Chapter 2. Successful Possession, 100,000-year external spirit bone, bright dragon wings. Sacrifice. Yu Xiaoging was completely stunned, followed by wild joy. A pie really did fall from the sky. And it was a solid gold pie at that. 100,000-year spirit beast actively choosing to sacrifice itself. How many spirit masters wouldn't even dare to dream of such a thing? This meant he would not only obtain a 100,000-year spirit ring but also a guaranteed 100,000-year spirit bone. Senior's righteousness is great. Junior Yu Xiaoging will certainly not fail Senior's high expectations. Yu Xiaoging trembled with excitement, tears and snot flowing freely. If I can become a god in the future, I will surely reconstruct a golden body for Senior and offer sacrifices for generations. Reconstruct a golden body. Yu Jingcheng sneered in his heart. No need, I'm quite satisfied with your body. Concentrate and calm your mind, hold on to your spirit. I'm about to begin. Yu Jingcheng wasted no more words, and his massive body instantly erupted into dazzling golden flames. In the next moment, a blood-red spirit ring, carrying a suffocatingly terrifying energy, slowly drifted down from above his head, enveloping Yu Xiaoging. The sacrifice began. Yu Xiaoging greedily opened his arms to welcome this power. The moment the red light entered his body, he felt as if he were soaking in a hot spring. The Luo San Pao, inside him, which had always been mocked, was undergoing an earth-shattering transformation, and an unprecedentedly powerful force filled his entire body. As this, the feeling of power. It's wonderful. Yu Xiaoging was intoxicated, but at that moment, a sudden change occurred. A domineering and aggressive soul power followed the connection of the spirit ring and stabbed ruthlessly into his sea of consciousness like a sharp knife. Ah! Yu Xiaogang let out a wretched scream, clutching his head and rolling on the ground in agony. Senior, what's happening? Why does my head hurt so much? Why is your soul power so violent? In a normal sacrifice, the spirit beast's soul would gently merge into the spirit ring and even protect the host. But this power was clearly devouring him. Don't. Stop. Stop quickly. Yu Xiaogang discovered in horror that his memories, consciousness, and even control over his body were being rapidly erased. Xiaogang, relax. Discomfort is normal. Sacrifice is like this, it has a small side effect. As the sacrifice progresses, my soul and memories will enter your body. Your memories will disappear. Yu Xiaogang's pupils shook. What kind of sacrifice was this? This was freaking possession. Senior, my father is Yu Yuanjun. Yu Xiaogang didn't care about anything else. Regardless of whether his words could deter Yu Jingcheng, he threw out all the trump cards he thought he had. Even if Senior possesses me, you will likely be hunted down by the people of my Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect afterward. It would be better to perform a normal sacrifice. I will certainly not break my promise. Once I become a god, I will reconstruct a golden body for Senior. Hey, Yu Jingcheng continued the possession, mocking. Xiaogang, do you think I'm like you? Xiaogang, you're too much of a waste. This holy dragon of light bloodline is wasted on you. It's better to fulfill my needs instead. After the sacrifice is complete, the holy dragon of light bloodline in my body will help your Luo Sanpao spirit complete a true evolution, becoming a holy dragon of light spirit. I don't want it. Weren't you going to sacrifice yourself to me? You lied to me. Yu Xiaogang roared in despair. I am sacrificing, but I'm sacrificing your soul to me. Yu Jingcheng's soul form manifested within Yu Xiaogang's sea of consciousness. It was the image of a handsome and wickedly charming young man. Looking at Yu Xiaogang's trembling soul, Yu Jingcheng smiled and said, "Go in peace. I shall take care of your wife and children." Although at this point in time, Yu Xiaogang didn't even know Bibi Dong yet. Boom! A terrifying mental storm instantly swept through everything. No! Accompanied by one last cry of unwilling despair, Yu Xiaogang's consciousness completely dissipated between heaven and earth. A moment later, Yu Xiaogang slowly stood up. His previously stiff and decadent movements now exuded an indescribable elegance and dominance. He looked down at his hands, clenched them tightly, and his knuckles let out a crisp popping sound. Although this body is as weak as an ant and its spirit power is only a pathetic rank 29. But the feeling of being human again is truly not bad. Yu Jingcheng took a deep breath, greedily inhaling the air. Inspecting his internal self, he saw a round pearl emitting a brilliant golden light floating quietly deep within his dantian. That was the condensed essence of his 100,000 years of cultivation, the golden dragon pellet. A normal sacrifice would involve pouring one's cultivation unreservedly into the host, which often resulted in a shaky foundation. But Yu Jingcheng was performing a possession. He naturally wouldn't do something so foolish. He had sealed the vast majority of his power within this dragon pellet. He only needed to slowly refine it in the future to increase his spirit power like a rocket, without any side effects. With this dragon pellet, becoming a titled Douluo is only a matter of time. The corners of Yu Jingcheng's mouth curled up slightly as his gaze swept over the sleeping Luo Sanpao nearby. At this moment, Luo Sanpao's body seemed to have grown a size larger. On its originally pink pig skin, golden scale patterns were faintly emerging. In its sleep, it no longer made oinking sounds but instead emitted low purrs, like a young dragon snoring. Even though you're still a semi-finished product right now. But since I've come, you're no longer a trash spirit that can only fart, but a true holy dragon of light. Yu Jingcheng, withdraw your gaze, I've already made up my mind. The priority now is to go into seclusion to completely master this body and preliminarily digest the power of the dragon pellet. Thinking of this, Yu Jingcheng turned around and walked toward the spot where his original body had been. There, the originally massive golden earth dragon king's body had disappeared. In its place were two treasures lying quietly in the dust. First to catch his eye was a spirit bone emitting a dazzling golden light. It was a torso bone, crystal clear throughout, as if cast from the purest gold. But unlike ordinary torso bones, from the back of this bone, two folded, sharp, and magnificent dragon wing skeletons actually extended. This is. A flash of surprise and joy crossed Yu Jingcheng's eyes. I didn't expect that after the sacrifice, my original body would actually drop such a top-tier item. Generally speaking, 100,000-year spirit beast is guaranteed to drop a spirit bone, but most are for a single position. Yet the one before him clearly defied common logic. This is both a torso bone and an external spirit bone. Or rather, the torso bone underwent a mutation, fusing the abilities of the wings. Essentially, it was an external spirit bone. Yu Jingcheng reached out and gently stroked the cold bone, feeling the light and fire attribute auras contained within. I'll call you the bright dragon wings. With it, even if Yu Jingcheng's spirit hasn't evolved yet, he would still possess the ability to fly and a terrifying speed boost. Chapter 3. Golden Earth Dragon King Clone. Awakening Holy Dragon of Light Bloodline, Luo Sanpao begins to evolve. After putting away the spirit bone, Yu Jingcheng's gaze fell on the small figure beside him. It was a Golden Earth Dragon King shrunk countless times, only the size of a house cat, curled up on the ground as if in a deep sleep. Its aura was weak but had not been extinguished. As expected, it's still here. Yu Jingcheng squatted down, a strange light flashing in his eyes. According to the rules of the Douluo continent, after 100,000-year spirit beast sacrifices itself, it leaves behind a seed or a juvenile form of its original body. Just like how Ah Yin left a blue-silver grass seed after sacrificing herself, and Xiaowu turned back into a soft bones rabbit after her sacrifice. Normally, this remaining original body would need a long time to regain its intelligence. But Yu Jingcheng was different. He was a possession. Although his soul had entered Yu Xiaoging's body, there was an unbreakable bloodline connection between him and this original physical body. Yu Jingcheng reached out and pressed his hand on the head of the little Golden Earth Dragon King. Buzz! A wonderful resonance was instantly generated. He could clearly feel that although there was no consciousness in this tiny body, it was a perfect, empty vessel. Moreover, this vessel was a perfect match for his soul. Ha 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 ha, the heavens are truly helping me. Yu Jingcheng was ecstatic and couldn't help but laugh lowly. This isn't just a remaining body, it's practically a second life bestowed upon me by the heavens. Yu Jingcheng discovered that he could completely separate a portion of his soul power and inject it into this juvenile body, refining it into an external incarnation. From the worst perspective, even if Yu Jingcheng died, he could cultivate again as the Golden Earth Dragon King. At least there would be a second chance. Yu Jingcheng didn't hesitate at all and picked up the juvenile Golden Earth Dragon King. With a flash of his figure, he jumped directly into the huge underground tunnel he had smashed open for his appearance earlier. Sliding down the deep tunnel, he soon returned to that familiar underground karst cave. Although it was dark and damp, for him, who was once the Dragon King, it was the safest and most comfortable natural fortress. Phew! Yu Jingcheng sat cross-legged on a flat boulder, carefully placing the juvenile and that precious external spirit bone to the side. He closed his eyes, and his consciousness sank into his dantian. There, the golden dragon pellet was emitting a warm aura, like a miniature sun. Let's begin. With a thought, Yu Jingcheng guided a wisp of origin power from the dragon pellet, slowly flowing toward his limbs and bones. Boom! Even just a wisp of aura was like a flood breaking a dam for this weak human body. Intense pain instantly swept through his entire body. It was as if every inch of bone was being smashed by a hammer, and every meridian was being burned by fire. HMPH. Yu Jingcheng let out a muffled groan, cold sweat dripping from his forehead, but he gritted his teeth and didn't make a sound. This bit of pain was nothing compared to the lightning strikes when undergoing tribulation in his previous life. Destroy to create, no construction without destruction. Yu Xiaoging's body is too useless, the meridians are blocked, the bones are fragile, and it simply cannot carry divine rank power. It must be completely remodeled. What I want is a complete transformation. As the energy of the golden dragon pellet continued to wash through him, a strange scene occurred. Crack, crack, dense bone-popping sounds came from within Yu Jingcheng's body. His back, which was slightly hunched due to long-term depression and malnutrition, was forcibly straightened at this moment. The broken bones healed quickly under the nourishment of the golden light. They became tougher and thicker, faintly revealing a jade-like luster. His height was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. 1.75 meters, 1 meter 8, 1 meter 85. It only slowly stopped when it approached 1.90 meters. Next were the muscles and skin. The originally loose flesh became tight and firm, full of explosive power. The layer of rough, dark dead skin from years of exposure to the elements began to fall off in large patches. It revealed new skin underneath that was as fair as a newborn baby's, yet as tough as dragon skin. The most amazing change occurred on his face. Yu Xiaoging's original face was stiff and full of grievances, with a lingering gloom and sour air. Now, under the baptism of the Holy Dragon of Light bloodline, the contours of his features began to undergo subtle shifts and restructuring. His brow bones became more three-dimensional, the bridge of his nose taller, and his jawline as sharp as if carved by a knife. His originally dry short hair grew rapidly, becoming jet black and shiny. The tips of his hair were even tinged with a noble dark gold, draped casually over his shoulders. In just half an hour, that decadent Yu Xiaoging had completely disappeared. In his place was a tall, slender Yu Jingcheng with a handsome and demonic face. He exuded a noble and overbearing aura. This change was even more thorough than Tang San's awakening of the Blue-Silver Emperor bloodline. Phew! Yu Jingcheng slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, which was mixed with black impurities. Opening his eyes, two golden vertical pupils flashed and vanished deep within. Yu Jingcheng raised his hand, looking at these long, powerful palms that were like works of art, a satisfied curve hooking his lips. Not bad. This skin is worthy of my identity as the Golden Earth Dragon King. Yu Jingcheng stood up and casually condensed a water mirror. Looking at the stranger in the mirror, the smile in his eyes grew deeper. In this way, when I walk the continent in the future, who will recognize me as that trash Yu Xiaoging? Even if people from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect stood before me, I'm afraid they wouldn't dare to recognize me. This wasn't just becoming stronger, it was a perfect disguise. Just then, a strange wave of energy came from the side. Yu Jingcheng turned to look. He saw Luo Sanpao, who had been lying at his feet, also undergoing an amazing change. Influenced by the resonance of the Golden Dragon Pellet and the Holy Dragon of Light bloodline in Yu Jingcheng's body, Luo Sanpao's chubby body was now wrapped in a thick golden light cocoon. Through the translucent cocoon, one could vaguely see that Luo Sanpao's original comical appearance, like a mix of a pig and a dog, was fading. Its limbs were lengthening, growing sharp dragon claws. Its round body began to be covered with fine golden dragon scales. On its head, two lumps were constantly wriggling, as if something was about to burst out. It no longer made those embarrassing farting sounds but fell into a deep sleep. Between its breaths, the faint sound of a dragon's roar echoed. Sleep, sleep to your heart's content. Yu Jingcheng reached out and gently stroked the light cocoon, his eyes flashing with anticipation. When you wake up, it will be the day you shed your mortal coil, transform into a holy dragon of light, and shock the world. And I, in the name of Yu Jingcheng, will reign over this Douluo continent. At the same time, refining the Golden Dragon Pellet. In addition to the bloodline changing into the Holy Dragon of Light bloodline, his spirit power cultivation also surged. Chapter 4. 100,000-Year Third Ring. Refining Bright Dragon Wings. Luo Sanpao. No, Holy Dragon of Light. As this, the feeling of breaking through the shackles. Yu Jingcheng clenched his fists and looked inward at his body. The rank 29 Spirit Grandmaster bottleneck that had plagued Yu Xiaoging for half his life and caused him endless humiliation. Under the scouring of the Golden Holy Dragon bloodline, it was as fragile as a thin sheet of paper. Pop! It was as if a soft sound could be heard. Without any obstacles, without any pause. The spirit power instantly broke through the barrier of rank 29 and stepped firmly into the threshold of rank 30. Moreover, this rising momentum showed no signs of weakening. The golden dragon pellet floating in the dantian. At this moment, just a trace of insignificant origin aura leaked out, causing the spirit power of this body to overflow. If not for the fact that he hadn't obtained a third spirit ring and thus his rank couldn't continue to show an increase. Yu Jingcheng had no doubt that his current true spirit power had likely already broken through rank 40, or even higher. HMPH, so-called trash is just a genius placed in the wrong position, or, someone who hasn't met me. Yu Jingcheng looked into his dantian, watching that glittering golden dragon pellet, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. This dragon pellet condensed the lifelong cultivation of his previous life as a 100,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King. Although his possession was successful now, this human physical body was still too weak after all. Even after initial modification, it was impossible to swallow this terrifying 100,000-year energy in one go. If he forced the absorption, the only outcome would be his body exploding. Since I can't completely digest it for now, then I'll change the method. Yu Jingcheng sat cross-legged back on the huge rock, his gaze burning. When ordinary spirit masters reach rank 30, they need to hunt spirit beasts to obtain a spirit ring to advance. But I am a 100,000-year spirit beast recultivating, why would I need to hunt those low-level trash? My power comes from myself. A proud curve curled at the corner of Yu Jingcheng's mouth. What he wanted to do was use the origin power within the golden dragon pellet to condense the most perfect third spirit ring for himself. Such a method was a fantasy for ordinary human spirit masters. But for Yu Jingcheng, who possessed the insights of the 100,000-year realm and came with his own energy source, it was a familiar path. Condense. Yu Jingcheng gave a low shout, his hands forming an ancient seal in front of his chest. Inside the dantian, the golden dragon pellet shook violently, its rotation speed suddenly accelerating. Strands of extremely pure golden energy were drawn out, flowing backward along the meridians and finally gathering above his head. Roar. Vaguely, a high-pitched dragon roar seemed to come from the void realm. The golden light appeared exceptionally dazzling in the dim cave. The escaping energy did not dissipate but began to compress and condense frantically under the control of Yu Jingcheng's powerful mental force. Gradually, the prototype of an illusory ring appeared above his head. At first, it was white, representing 10 years. In the blink of an eye, it turned yellow, representing 100 years. Immediately after, the yellow deepened, turning into a profound purple in an instant, that was 1,000 years. Moreover, this purple light continued to deepen, evolving toward an even darker hue. Not enough, still not enough. Veins popped on Yu Jingcheng's forehead. He was challenging the limits of this body. Although theoretically, the limit for a third spirit ring is around 1,760 years. But his current body had been modified by the golden holy dragon bloodline. His physical fitness had long surpassed that of ordinary spirit masters. Not to mention, the golden dragon pellet was originally his own power. Controlling it was as easy as moving his own arms. Gather, for me. With Yu Jingcheng's loud shout, the golden dragon pellet once again erupted with a surge of majestic origin power. The age of the spirit ring suddenly skyrocketed. 10,000 years, 30,000 years, 60,000 years. Finally, the age of the spirit ring reached a staggering 100,000 years. The color also turned into a bloody red. As the spirit ring stabilized, Yu Jingcheng's spirit power cultivation suddenly surged. 31, 35, 39, rank 40. Without a fourth spirit ring, otherwise, my final spirit power should be at least rank 44. Yu Jingcheng shook his head, feeling slightly regretful. He looked at Luo Sanpao on the side. At this moment, Luo Sanpao, no, he should be called the Holy Dragon of Light. The original pig-like features had vanished into thin air. He had completely turned into a dragon. Under the stimulation of the golden dragon pellet, the Holy Dragon of Light bloodline hidden within Luo Sanpao's body was activated. He successfully evolved into a Holy Dragon of Light. However, it would take a while before he completely stabilized. Yu Jingcheng turned his gaze to the bright dragon wings. Although spirit bones mainly improve the physique, and increasing spirit power is secondary. But the age of the bright dragon wings is also 100,000 years after all. At the very least, it can increase my spirit power by 3 ranks. Thinking this, Yu Jingcheng immediately chose to absorb the bright dragon wings. Half a moment later, golden light flourished in the cave, illuminating the originally dark and damp space like daylight. Yu Jingcheng was shirtless, his back to the light source. That strange, bright dragon wings, external spirit bone, under the guidance of his spirit power, actually seeped into the spine and shoulder blades of his back without any resistance, like molten golden droplets. There was no heart-wrenching pain, only a refreshing feeling of perfect blending. After all, this was originally a part of his body. Buzz. Accompanied by a clear, vibrating hum, 2 balls of dazzling golden light suddenly exploded behind Yu Jingcheng. Whoosh. A pair of wide dragon wings suddenly spread out. This pair of dragon wings had a wingspan of over 4 meters, and the entire body appeared as a translucent pale gold. The skeleton was strong and powerful, and mysterious light runes flowed on the wing membranes. The edges were as sharp as knives, emitting a heart-palpitating cold light. With a gentle flap, the surrounding air seemed to be sliced open, making a faint hissing sound. These are the bright dragon wings. With a thought from Yu Jingcheng, the wings flapped hard, and his whole body instantly soared into the air. He flew flexibly around the narrow cave and then landed steadily. That feeling of effortless control was as if these wings had naturally grown on his body. Not only did it grant me the ability to fly in extreme speed, but more importantly, Yu Jingcheng reached back and touched his back, which was now as hard as iron. This spirit bone has greatly strengthened my physique, especially the core area of the spine. Now, with just my physical body strength, I could probably go head-to-head with an attack system Spirit King. As for spirit power, although his rank was still stuck at rank 40 because he lacked a 4th spirit ring. But Yu Jingcheng could clearly feel that the spirit power accumulated in his body had become more condensed and heavy. Once he obtained a 4th spirit ring and the accumulated spirit power erupted, he would likely reach a staggering height. Just as Yu Jingcheng was immersed in the joy of his power increasing. Crack! A crisp sound of cracking broke the silence of the cave. Yu Jingcheng turned his head sharply, his eyes burning as he looked at the golden cocoon in the corner. Chapter 5. 5 Spirit Bones. Refining the young Dragon King clone, the ice and fire yin-yang well. Finally, is it coming out? On the surface of the thick cocoon of light, cracks began to spread rapidly like a spiderweb. A sacred, majestic, and domineering dragon might was constantly seeping out through the cracks. Boom! The cocoon of light exploded completely, and shards of golden light flew everywhere. Ang! A loud, high-pitched dragon roar instantly pierced through the thick rock layers and soared into the clouds. There was no longer the slightest grunt of a pig in this sound, instead, it was a pure roar belonging to a high-ranking dragon clan. As the golden light dissipated, a majestic beast appeared before Yu Jingcheng. It was over 5 meters long, its entire body covered in brilliant golden dragon scales. Every single scale seemed like a meticulously carved piece of art, shimmering with a metallic luster. The originally comical pig nose had vanished, replaced by a majestic and ferocious dragon head. 2 spiral-shaped golden dragon horns grew from the top of its head, pointing straight toward the firmament. Its limbs were thick and powerful, with claws like hooks that easily carved deep marks into the hard rocky ground. Its eyes were pure gold, with sacred flames burning within its vertical pupils. Every glance it cast was intimidating. Where was there even a trace of Luo Sanpao left? This was clearly a holy dragon of light. Luo Sanpao's body had originally contained the holy dragon of light bloodline. Yu Shaogang could use a spirit fusion technique with Flender and Luerlong to summon the holy dragon of light golden holy dragon. 10,000 years later, the spirit of Muen, a descendant of Yu Shaogang and Luerlong, was also the holy dragon of light. All of this proved that point. Under the stimulation of the holy dragon of light bloodline within the golden dragon pellet, the evolution that had failed because of Yu Shaogang was finally completed. Roar! The newly born holy dragon of light seemed curious about its own changes. It lowered its head, looking at its sharp dragon claws, and then turned its gaze toward Yu Jingcheng. Man and dragon looked at each other. An intimate connection originating from the depths of the soul arose spontaneously. It was no longer that trash spirit that could only fart or even run away out of fear. It was Yu Jingcheng's most loyal battle partner, an extension of his will. Good. Very good. Yu Jingcheng stepped forward and reached out to pat the massive dragon head. It felt cold and hard to the touch, brimming with a sense of power. The holy dragon of light docilely nuzzled his palm, 2 streams of hot white chi puffing from its nostrils. From this day forth, Luo Sanpao no longer exists in this world. A light of ambition flashed in Yu Jingcheng's eyes as he stroked the dragon horns and whispered softly. You are a true dragon king. Follow me, and let this Douluo continent tremble under our dragon might. Soul-splitting refinement. Yu Jingcheng shouted low, and the golden light at the center of his brow brightened suddenly. A streak of pure mental origin separated from his sea of consciousness. It transformed into a miniature golden dragon and dove straight into the brow of the young golden earth dragon king on the ground. Buzz! The young dragon's originally dull and lifeless eyes snapped open, a flash of intelligent light passing through its pupils. A wondrous sensation flooded his heart. Yu Jingcheng felt as if he had become 2 people. One perspective was the tall, handsome human body, while the other was the young dragon crouching on the ground. The two perspectives did not interfere with each other, their thoughts were synchronized, yet they could think independently. This feeling is truly wonderful. The young golden earth dragon king opened its mouth. Though the sound it made was immature, its tone was exactly the same as Yu Jingcheng's. Come back. Yu Jingcheng beckoned. The young golden earth dragon king immediately hopped onto his shoulder obediently. Like a golden pet lizard, it affectionately nuzzled his cheek. Having done all this, Yu Jingcheng flipped himself onto the holy dragon of light's broad back. Let's go to our new home. Aang. The holy dragon of light gave a low growl, tucked its wings, and carried Yu Jingcheng and his clone toward the darker tunnel deep within the cavern. This tunnel was one that Yu Jingcheng had meticulously excavated and widened over the past year. It led directly to the true core forbidden land of the Sunset Forest. As they went deeper, the surrounding air began to turn eerie. At times it was unbearably hot, as if they were in a furnace. At other times the cold was biting, with frost even forming on the rock walls. Relying on its powerful physique and the protection of its light attribute, the holy dragon of light traversed this environment of alternating ice and fire as if on level ground. Yu Jingcheng sat on the dragon's back with a relaxed expression. With a wave of his hand, he took out several pieces of bone radiating different lusters from a bundle he had previously hidden in a rock crevice of the cavern. 4 10,000-year spirit bones and 1,000-year spirit bone. These were his spoils of war from the past year. I certainly went to great lengths for today. Yu Jingcheng toyed with a 10,000-year right arm bone emitting a faint black light, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. The greatest risk of possession and recultivation is the period of weakness. To prevent other high-level spirit beasts from taking advantage of my vulnerability. Over this past year, I have nearly slaughtered every spirit beast near the core circle of the Sunset Forest with a cultivation over 30,000 years. This was exactly why Yu Shaogang, who was only rank 29, could survive so long in the Sunset Forest and even make it near here. Because the true overlords had long since become the bones in Yu Jingcheng's hands and the bloody food in his belly. As for why Yu Shaogang came to the Sunset Forest, that was also part of Yu Jingcheng's scheme. Through spirit masters entering the Sunset Forest, he had spread information to the outside world. Under multiple factors, Yu Shaogang chose to enter the Sunset Forest to try his luck. He hadn't expected his luck to be so explosive. He directly obtained the sacrifice of the 100,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King. Although the drawback was losing all of his memories, Yu Shaogang had now achieved his wish of a heaven-defying change of fate, hadn't he? Pity, they're all just some tens of thousands of years trash. Yu Jingcheng somewhat disdainfully tossed the 10,000-year spirit bone back into the bundle. For the current me, anything that isn't a 100,000-year spirit bone is simply not worthy of being absorbed. If I absorb this garbage, it would only defile this divine body of mine that possesses infinite potential. However, despite his disdain, Yu Jingcheng didn't plan to throw them away. I'll keep them. In the future, whether used to nurture subordinates or taken to an auction house to exchange for resources, or even used to win people over, they are all good bargaining chips. In this world, no spirit master can resist the temptation of a spirit bone. Even a titled Douluo would be moved upon seeing a 10,000-year spirit bone. Take Yu Guan, for example. Right now, Yu Guan probably hasn't become a titled Douluo yet. But in the original story, as a dignified super Douluo, Yu Guan surprisingly didn't have a single spirit bone on him. That shows how rare they are. While Yu Jingcheng was lost in thought, the view ahead suddenly opened up. A burst of heaven and earth spiritual qi, so dense it was extreme, mixed with a strange medicinal fragrance, rushed toward him. We're here. A sharp light burst from Yu Jingcheng's eyes. The holy dragon of light lunged out of the tunnel exit and landed steadily on the edge of a valley. The scene before him was enough to make anyone in the world go mad. In the center of the valley, a strange spring was emitting curling mists. The spring water was clearly divided. One side was a milky white cold spring emitting a bone-chilling cold, the other was a vermilion hot spring with roiling, scorching bubbles. The red and white spring waters did not interfere with each other, yet they met at the center, forming a perfect taiji pattern. And around the spring grew countless strangely shaped, colorful plants. Some burned like fierce fire, some were as transparent as ice crystals, some were shaped like a full moon, and some looked like swimming dragons. Every single one was an immortal herb rarely seen in the outside world. The ice and fire yin-yang well. This precious land, which in the original story belonged to the poisoned Douluo Douluo. At this moment, before Douluo had discovered it or fully occupied it, had completely become Yu Jingcheng's prize. Ha 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 ha. Looking at the immortal herbs covering the ground, Yu Jingcheng could hardly stop himself from laughing out loud. With such a god-tier start, how could I possibly lose? Chapter 6. Earth Dragon Golden Melon and Black Jade Divine Bamboo. Let the clone devour them. Yu Jingcheng helpless. 3 mouths, is there enough to eat? Yu Jingcheng patted the holy dragon of light beneath him, signaling it to wait at the edge of the valley. Then, he leapt down, his figure landing lightly in the soft medicinal field. The air here was permeated with a rich medicinal fragrance. Just taking a deep breath made him feel the spirit power within his body circulate a few points faster. But he did not stop at the edge, instead walking straight toward the central area of the ice and fire yin-yang well. There, 2 completely different immortal herbs were growing quietly on either side of the spring's eye. They stood opposite each other, yet maintained a delicate balance. On the left was one that was snow-white all over, as if carved from ice crystals, with 8 corners at the top, emitting a heart-palpitating aura of extreme cold. Octagonal mysterious ice grass. On the right was one that was fiery red all over, shaped like a large cabbage. However, its entire body was like red jade glass, emitting a scorching high temperature. Blazing apricot delicate tree. It's you too. Looking at these 2 deadly poisonous herbs, there was no fear in Yu Jingcheng's eyes, instead, they were filled with greed and desire. Although this body has been reborn after being transformed by the golden dragon pellet, its current strength is still far from enough if I want to carry divine rank power and absorb spirit rings and spirit bones of higher cultivation years in the future. Only by finding life in death, utilizing the extreme cold and extreme heat of these 2 immortal herbs, and tempering myself with the water of the ice and fire yin-yang well, to forge the ice-fire golden body, that is impervious to water, fire, and all poisons, can I truly lay the supreme foundation for becoming a god. After confirming his goal, Yu Jingcheng did not rush to start picking. He turned around, his gaze beginning to carefully scan the vast medicinal garden, taking stock of the inventory here. Marvelous fungus reaching heaven chrysanthemum, Kiluo tulip, 8-petaled immortal orchid, coxcomb phoenix sunflower. Those immortal herbs that shone brilliantly in the original story and allowed the Shrek 7 devils to reach godhood, were all growing quietly here at this moment, waiting for him to pluck them. Very good, they are all here. Yu Jingcheng nodded with satisfaction. But immediately after, Yu Jingcheng's gaze stopped on 2 plants in the corner of the medicinal garden. One of them was a stalk of bamboo that was pitch black as ink and emitted a warm, jade-like luster. It was only a little over a meter tall, yet it gave off an indestructible, heaven-supporting feeling. The bamboo leaves were as sharp as swords, and as they swayed in the wind, they actually produced the sound of clashing metal. Black jade divine bamboo. Yu Jingcheng raised an eyebrow and moved his gaze to another spot. A strange fruit was growing there. Its entire body was a heavy earthy yellow, and the skin was covered in golden patterns. These patterns wound and twisted, faintly forming the patterns of coiled earth dragons. A thick and heavy earth attribute aura, mixed with a faint dragon's might, radiated from this fruit. Earth Dragon Golden Melon. The corners of Yu Jingcheng's mouth curled up slightly. These 2 immortal herbs never appeared in the original story of the first Douluo continent book. Instead, it was only during the unrivaled Tang sect period 10,000 years later that they were discovered and utilized by Huo Yuhao and the others. Black jade divine bamboo is known for its toughness and can greatly enhance the resilience and attack power of plant type or attack system spirit masters. And the Earth Dragon Golden Melon possesses an extremely pure Earth Dragon bloodline. For a spirit master with a sub-dragon spirit, it is simply a heaven-defying object. For changing one's fate. Although Yu Jingcheng's holy dragon of light bloodline was of the light attribute. In this era, an Earth Dragon Golden Melon that could enhance Dragon Clan bloodline was still incredibly precious. There was no need to be a picky eater. Strange. Yu Jingcheng rubbed his chin, lost in thought. Since they are growing here now, why was there not a single word mentioned when Tang San came in the original story? Several thoughts quickly flashed through Yu Jingcheng's mind. The first possibility is that in the years before the plot began, they were ruined or mistakenly picked by someone, perhaps that old poison Douluo bow, who doesn't know their value. The second possibility is that when Tang San came, these two immortal herbs were still in their juvenile stage or hidden too deeply, so even the purple demon eye couldn't find them. Or perhaps, the corners of Yu Jingcheng's mouth curled into a playful smile. That hypocrite Tang San discovered them, but he felt they were useless to him. Or he didn't want to write them into the mysterious heaven treasure record, so he simply didn't mention them, or even pocketed them privately. However, no matter what the truth was, it was no longer important. Since he, Yu Jingcheng, had come, everything here now belonged to the Yu family. This Earth Dragon Golden Melon is practically tailor-made for my external incarnation. Yu Jingcheng glanced at the little golden Earth Dragon King perched on his shoulder, his eyes flashing with brilliance. Although the Golden Earth Dragon King has the Holy Dragon of Light bloodline, it also has a certain Earth attribute, otherwise, where would the word, Earth, in its name come from? If it devours this Earth Dragon Golden Melon, which contains the essence of the Earth Dragon bloodline, this Golden Earth Dragon King clone will also be able to grow up quickly. Yu Jingcheng's goal for the Golden Earth Dragon King clone wasn't high either. After all, the Golden Earth Dragon King was not a plant. It could not enjoy the benefits of the greatly increased growth speed of plants in the ice and fire yin-yang well like Ah Yin. It could only enhance its aptitude and potential by devouring immortal herbs. As long as its cultivation years could be raised to tens of thousands or 100,000 years in the following decades, before the plot begins, that would be enough. As for the Black Jade Divine Bamboo, although it couldn't be used for the time being, such a top-grade immortal herb was still a massive fortune to keep. Between my own mouth, the Holy Dragon of Light, and the little Golden Earth Dragon King clone, we are all gluttonous teodes. Let's see how much we can eat. If one does not take what heaven offers, one will suffer the consequences. Yu Jingcheng no longer hesitated and turned his gaze back to the octagonal mysterious ice grass and blazing apricot delicate tree by the spring water. First, I'll forge the ice fire golden body, and then I'll slowly enjoy this garden-wide feast. Holy Dragon of Light, come down. Yu Jingcheng waved toward the giant beast in the sky. Roar! A low dragon roar responded as the massive golden figure retracted its wings, bringing a gust of wild wind as it landed steadily beside Yu Jingcheng. Although there were terrifying force fields of extreme cold and extreme heat around the octagonal mysterious ice grass and blazing apricot delicate tree, such that an ordinary spirit master would be frozen stiff or burned to ashes just by approaching. For the Holy Dragon of Light, which possessed the ultimate light and holy attributes and had thick skin and flesh, this level of temperature was still within tolerable limits. Go, fetch those two herbs for me. Yu Jingcheng pointed at the white and red immortal herbs on either side of the spring eye. The Holy Dragon of Light was extremely intelligent. Its massive dragon head gave a slight nod, and then it reached out its dragon claws covered in thick golden scales. It first carefully uprooted the octagonal mysterious ice grass. The cold air, enough to freeze steel, kicked up a layer of white frost the moment it touched the dragon claws, yet it could not penetrate that layer of golden scales. Immediately after, it quickly grabbed toward the blazing apricot delicate tree. The scorching fire poison sizzled on the dragon claws, yet it still could not harm them in the slightest. Chapter 7. Ice Fire Golden Body. Little Golden Earth Dragon King's age breakthrough to 6,000 years. Well done. Watching the Holy Dragon of Light present the two immortal herbs before him, a flash of determination crossed Yu Jingcheng's eyes. Without the slightest hesitation, both his hands simultaneously took hold of these two poisonous items, one freezing cold and one searing hot. Chilling air and scorching currents instantly surged up his arms, as if they were about to destroy his hands. HMPH. Yu Jingcheng let out a cold snort, circulating the golden dragon pellet within his body to forcibly suppress this strange force. Then, he opened his mouth wide, stuffed both immortal herbs inside at once, and began to chew vigorously. The taste was not good, it could even be described as extremely agonizing. On one side was extreme cold, as if he were chewing on 10,000-year mysterious ice. On the other side was extreme heat, as if he had swallowed a piece of red-hot charcoal. Gulp. As his Adam's apple bobbed, two diametrically opposed, terrifying medicinal forces rushed down his esophagus and into his stomach. Boom. In an instant, the surface of Yu Jingcheng's body turned red and white. The left half of his body was covered in blue frost, while the right half erupted with crimson flames. Now is the time. Enduring the agonizing pain churning within him, Yu Jingcheng leapt forward. Splash! He jumped directly into the center point where the red and white converged in the ice and fire yin-yang well. Sizzle, sizzle. The moment his body hit the water, the surrounding spring water seemed to boil, releasing a massive amount of steam. Drawn by the medicinal power of the two immortal herbs, the extremely cold and extremely hot spring waters surged frantically into Yu Jingcheng's body. Ah! Despite Yu Jingcheng's firm resolve, he couldn't help but let out a low roar at this moment. This pain was not just a physical tearing but a torment that reached deep into his marrow and scorched his soul. It felt as if countless ice blades were scraping his bones and countless flames were burning his heart. But he did not retreat. Instead, he frantically circulated the spirit power within his body. Golden Dragon Pellet, suppress this for me. Although the origin within the Golden Dragon Pellet had already been drained by Yu Jingcheng, the Golden Dragon Pellet had not yet perished. It was being kept as one of Yu Jingcheng's current trump cards. Once his spirit power reached the required level in the future, he would use the Golden Dragon Pellet as a foundation to condense his first soul core. Within his dantian, that Golden Dragon Pellet erupted with an unprecedentedly brilliant light. It acted like a giant millstone, forcibly crushing and performing fusion on the ice and fire energy surging into his body. Then, bit by bit, it integrated into Yu Jingcheng's flesh, meridians, and bones. His originally fragile human physical body was undergoing a fundamental transformation under the tempering of this violent power. Impurities were expelled, and cells were reorganized. A faint jade-colored luster began to emerge on the surface of his skin. Impervious to water and fire, immune to all poisons. This was the prototype of the ice-fire golden body. While Yu Jingcheng's main body was enduring inhuman torture, on the shore, the Golden Earth Dragon King clone, which was only the size of a house cat, also began its move. With light steps, it crawled in front of that massive, Earth Dragon Golden Melon. This immortal herb held a fatal attraction for it, as it possessed the Earth Dragon bloodline. Crack! The little Golden Earth Dragon King opened its mouth, and its sharp teeth easily bit through the tough skin of the Earth Dragon Golden Melon. A thick, sweet juice flowed into its mouth. It was pure Earth attribute essence to the extreme, containing a trace of ancient Earth Dragon origin. As the pulp entered its stomach, the little Golden Earth Dragon King's body immediately lit up with a heavy, earthy yellow light. Dark brown patterns began to appear on its originally golden scales, making them look even heavier and more solid. Although its size did not increase immediately, the aura on its body climbed at an astonishing speed. 10 years, 100 years, 500 years. The medicinal power of the Earth Dragon Golden Melon was gentle and mellow, constantly nourishing this newborn juvenile body and making up for its innate lack of foundation. Although Yu Jingcheng's main consciousness was enduring pain, the sense of fullness, enrichment, and evolutionary pleasure transmitted from his split soul gave him a hint of solace. Eat to your heart's content. This ice and fire yin-yang well is the cradle of our rise. In midair, the holy dragon of light spread its massive wings and circled above the valley. Those majestic golden vertical pupils scanned the surroundings warily. Any creature that dared to approach would face its thunderous wrath. It was waiting for the moment its master would return from that ice and fire purgatory and forge a supreme golden body. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Within the ice and fire yin-yang well, the originally violently churning red and white spring waters had now turned eerily calm. Splash! The sound of water breaking the silence of the valley. A slender figure burst out from the water, trailing a shower of crystalline droplets. Yu Jingcheng stood barefoot on the water's surface without sinking, as if these extremely cold and extremely hot spring waters were nothing more than docile bathwater to him. At this moment, his skin displayed a strange, lustrous texture. It was like the finest suet jade, and one could faintly see a red and blue shimmer flowing beneath the skin. That was not the light of spirit power, but a symbol of physical sanctification and being impervious to water and fire. Phew! Yu Jingcheng slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. It extended 3 feet from his body and actually turned into a white streak that didn't dissipate for a long time. The ice-fire golden body is complete. He clenched his fists, feeling the power of his vital energy surging like a great river within him. Now, even without using spirit power, based on his physical defense alone, he could probably withstand several attacks from a spirit emperor level without dying. As for those so-called toxins, they were like supplements to him. Yu Jingcheng looked inward at himself, his eyebrows arching slightly. My spirit power rank still shows as rank 40. However, Yu Jingcheng carefully sensed the feeling of fullness in his dantian that was almost overflowing. Although the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the blazing apricot delicate tree are poisonous immortal herbs, the heaven and earth spiritual chi they contain is also massive. Even though the vast majority of the medicinal power was used to temper this ice-fire golden body, the remaining essence still transformed into the purest spirit power. Yu Jingcheng made a silent estimation. It's roughly equivalent to an increase of 2 ranks worth of spirit power. Adding the overflow energy from the previous 100,000-year spirit ring, about 4 ranks, and the bonus from the 100,000-year external spirit bone, about 7 ranks. Plus the increase from these 2 immortal herbs, about 2 ranks. In other words, as soon as I obtain my 4th spirit ring, my spirit power rank will instantly soar to rank 50. And rank 50 isn't even enough. I'll have to wait until I absorb a 5th spirit ring to reflect my true spirit power rank. At this thought, the smile on Yu Jingcheng's lips deepened. His figure flashed, instantly crossing a distance of dozens of meters and landing in the herb garden on the shore. Roar! Seeing its master emerge from seclusion, the holy dragon of light, which had been circling in midair as a protector, immediately swooped down. It dove down joyfully, its massive dragon head affectionately rubbing against Yu Jingcheng's shoulder. Thank you for your hard work. Chapter 8. Captive Spirit Beasts. 20,000 year, pure holy dragon of light bloodline heavenly dragon horse. Yu Jingcheng patted its scales, then cast his gaze toward a boulder not far away. The golden earth dragon king's body length was already close to 3 meters. Half a month ago, it was only the size of a house cat. Now, it was covered in heavy dark gold scales, with every scale seemingly branded with the textures of the earth. Its originally immature aura had long since vanished, replaced by a pressure as steady as a mountain and as heavy and profound as the abyss. Beside it, that precious, earth dragon golden melon, had already vanished without a trace, skin and pulp alike. Not only that, but several high-grade spiritual plant remnants that had been half-eaten were scattered around. 6,000 years of cultivation. Yu Jingcheng felt the power feedback from his clone, a flash of amazement crossing his eyes. In just half a month, it has surged from its infancy to 6,000 years of cultivation. This growth rate is simply unheard of. When human spirit masters absorb immortal herbs, they are limited by their body structure and the endurance of their meridians, often leading to a large amount of medicinal power being lost or settling in the body, unable to be digested immediately. But spirit beasts are different. They are naturally born spirits of heaven and earth, possessing an extremely high affinity for natural energy. Especially a top-tier bloodline like the Golden Earth Dragon King. Its stomach is like a bottomless pit. Whether it's a top-quality immortal herb like the Earth Dragon Golden Melon or other high-grade spirit medicines, swallowing them directly converts them into years of cultivation. Moreover, the medicinal power hasn't been completely exhausted yet. Yu Jingcheng looked at his clone, which was still in a deep sleep, constantly breathing out an earthy yellow halo. The medicinal effect of the Earth Dragon Golden Melon is extremely mild and long-lasting, plus the unique environment of this ice and fire yin-yang well. This growth momentum will likely continue for a long time. Yu Jingcheng knew very well that although the Golden Earth Dragon King had the word Earth in its name, seemingly inferior to the Heaven generation of the Dragon clan. In reality, as the sub-dragon king that controlled the earth power, its bloodline level was extremely high. As long as it grew up, it would definitely be a monarch-level existence. Once you finish digesting all of this, 10,000 years of cultivation will likely be just around the corner. Yu Jingcheng nodded with satisfaction. The main body possessed ultimate light and holy, while the clone possessed ultimate defense and earth power. Coupled with this garden of immortal herbs as a backup, the future of this Douluo continent was destined to belong to him. Since the ice-fire golden body is complete, there's no point in continuing to sit here in meditation. Yu Jingcheng stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze sweeping across this medicinal garden full of treasures. Although there were many immortal herbs here, there were no more suitable for consumption at the moment. The rest were either for future teammates, reserved for alchemy later, or used as bargaining chips for trading with other forces. As for that little golden earth dragon king that was frantically digesting the medicinal power of the earth dragon golden melon. After a moment's thought, Yu Jingcheng decided to leave it here. The ice and fire yin-yang well was a sacred land where heaven and earth spiritual qi gathered, providing an inestimable boost to the growth of spirit beasts. Moreover, there was a natural barrier of poisonous miasma here, and combined with the golden earth dragon king's own increasing strength, it was enough for self-preservation. Cultivate here in peace and guard our back garden well. Yu Jingcheng issued instructions to his clone. The little, golden earth dragon king lazily lifted its eyelids, let out a low growl in response, and then closed its eyes again, continuing to immerse itself in the rapid improvement of its strength. Next, it's time to take back what belongs to me. Yu Jingcheng flipped himself onto the back of the holy dragon of light. Let's go to the breeding farm. The holy dragon of light shook its wings, turning into a golden stream of light, rushing out of the valley of the ice and fire yin-yang well and flying toward another hidden corner of the sunset forest. The so-called breeding farm was actually a secret cave Yu Jingcheng had specially prepared for himself as a 100,000-year spirit beast before his possession. There, he kept a group of carefully selected high-grade spirit beasts in captivity. Every one of these spirit beasts was a top-quality specimen with top-tier bloodlines and suitable years. To prevent them from escaping or resisting, Yu Jingcheng had severely injured them, broken their limbs, and sealed their spirit power back when he was still the Golden Earth Dragon King. Over the past year, he would occasionally come to feed them the flesh of low-grade spirit beasts, keeping them alive by a thread to ensure they wouldn't starve to death, but with absolutely no possibility of recovery. This was much like humans raising livestock, waiting only for festivals to slaughter them for meat. For Yu Jingcheng, these spirit beasts were his prepared, spirit ring bank. Not long after, the holy dragon of light landed in front of a dark limestone cave obscured by dense vines. As soon as he approached, a heavy scent of blood and decay wafted toward him, forming a sharp contrast with the pure medicinal fragrance of the ice and fire yin-yang well. Yu Jingcheng's expression remained unchanged as he walked straight inside. Inside the cave, several dying behemoths lay scattered about. There was a pitch-black ghost tiger, an armored beast with shattered scales, and a wind thunder bird with broken wings. When they saw Yu Jingcheng enter, what was revealed in their eyes was no longer ferocity, but deep fear and despair. It was the instinctive trembling toward a high-level predator. Yu Jingcheng ignored these spares, his gaze locked directly onto the figure imprisoned alone on a stone platform at the deepest part of the cave. It was a horse, or rather, a majestic heavenly horse with dragon-like characteristics. It was pure white without a single stray color, with wings on its back and a mane as elegant as flowing clouds. Although it was currently covered in wounds and its aura was extremely weak, with its originally white fur stained with foul blood and dust, it still couldn't hide that sacred and noble temperament, especially the spiral horn on its forehead, which still emitted a faint, soft halo even in the dark cave. 20,000 years of cultivation, heavenly dragon horse. Yu Jingcheng walked up to it, his eyes showing a hint of appreciation, as if he were looking at a perfect work of art. It has an extremely pure holy dragon of light bloodline flowing within it, a hybrid descendant of the dragon clan and the heavenly horse. In terms of bloodline purity, among light attribute spirit beasts, few can surpass it except for true pure-blooded dragons. This heavenly dragon horse was something Yu Jingcheng had spent a great deal of effort to capture alive back then. All for today. His spirit was the holy dragon of light, following the path of ultimate light and holy. The choice of the fourth spirit ring was of paramount importance. Ordinary 10,000-year spirit beasts, no matter how high their years, would only lower his grade if their attributes didn't match. But this heavenly dragon horse was different. Not only did its attribute fit perfectly, but its age was as high as 20,000 years. For an ordinary spirit master, the limit for the fourth spirit ring was around 5,000 years. Absorbing a 20,000-year spirit ring, that was seeking death. But for Yu Jingcheng, who possessed the ice-fire golden body, mental force comparable to a spirit Douluo, and was once a 100,000-year spirit beast himself. 20,000 years. It was nothing more than an appetizer. Chapter 9. Level 50. A spirit bone drop. The target for the fifth spirit ring, a lion. Neigh. As if sensing its approaching death, the heavenly dragon horse let out a sorrowful neigh. It struggled to stand up, but with the bones of its forelimbs shattered, it fell powerlessly to the ground. Desperate tears flowed from its large, intelligent eyes. There is no need for sorrow. Yu Jingcheng slowly raised his right hand. Within his palm, golden spirit power began to condense, transforming into a sharp blade of light. He looked at the heavenly dragon horse, his tone calm and indifferent. To become a stepping stone on my path to godhood and a part of my power is the greatest honor of your life. As his voice fell, Puchi, the golden light blade pierced the heavenly dragon horse's heart without mercy, instantly severing its life force. The heavenly dragon horse's body convulsed violently before falling completely still. A speck of black light slowly condensed above its corpse. Immediately after, the light expanded rapidly, transforming into a deep, pitch-black ring emitting terrifying energy fluctuations. A 20,000-year spirit ring. Come. Yu Jingcheng sat cross-legged, a sharp light flashing in his eyes. He guided the black spirit ring, letting it slowly descend over his head. Boom. The moment the spirit ring entered his body, a majestic power of light mixed with the heavenly dragon horse's deathly resentment surged into his meridians like a flood of beasts. If it were before, this power might have been troublesome for him. But now, ice fire golden body, suppress. Red and blue light flashed on the surface of Yu Jingcheng's body. His indestructible meridians acted like iron walls, firmly locking down the impact. Then, the golden dragon pellet began to circulate again, greedily devouring this kindred power of light. There was no suspense. The absorption process was outrageously smooth. In less than half an hour, the black spirit ring, which was originally violent and filled with the heavenly dragon horse's resentment, was completely tamed and settled firmly onto Yu Jingcheng's spirit. Yellow, yellow, red, black. The 4 spirit rings radiated together, especially the outermost deep black ring, which emitted a heart-palpitating pressure. Phew. Yu Jingcheng slowly opened his eyes. 2 flickering golden lights shot out from his pupils, leaving 2 clear trails of light in the dim cavern. He stood up, and the bones throughout his body let out a series of popping sounds like beans roasting. An unprecedented feeling of power filled his entire body. Just as I expected, Yu Jingcheng sensed the surging spirit power within him, a satisfied curve appearing at the corner of his mouth. After absorbing this 20,000-year spirit ring, the spirit power in my body instantly broke through the bottleneck and surged forward, directly reaching the level 50 mark. If not for the lack of a 5th spirit ring to act as a vessel, this massive spirit power would likely have pushed me straight to level 53 or even higher. If word of this rocket-like leveling speed got out, it would probably make every spirit master on the Douluo continent question their life. But Yu Jingcheng knew this was the result of long-term accumulation. The foundation of 100,000-year spirit beast sacrifice, the medicinal power of 2 top-grade immortal herbs, plus this over-leveled 10,000-year spirit ring. If it still couldn't achieve this effect, then he would be a true waste. Let me see what this 4th spirit ability is. With a thought from Yu Jingcheng, the pitch-black 4th spirit ring beneath his feet suddenly lit up. Ang! Accompanied by a high-pitched dragon roar. On the head of the holy dragon of light, a spiral horn of light, similar to that of the heavenly dragon horse, faintly appeared. 4th spirit ability, Holy Dragon Judgment Light. Ang! With a high-pitched dragon roar, the massive head of the holy dragon of light phantom suddenly reared up. The newly formed spiral horn of light on its forehead, resembling the heavenly dragon horse's horn, instantly became the central light source of the entire cavern. The surrounding free light elements seemed to be summoned by a king, frantically converging toward that single horn. In just the time of a single breath, the spiral horn of light became so bright it was impossible to look at directly, as if a miniature sun had risen in the cave. Go! Yu Jingcheng raised his hand and pointed toward the hard rock wall deep within the cavern. Shoo! There was no earth-shattering explosion, only a scalp-numbing whistle of piercing air. A platinum beam, only as thick as an arm but refined to the extreme, shot out from the spiral horn. Wherever the beam passed, the air was instantly scorched and distorted, leaving a long-lasting burn mark. Phew! The platinum beam instantly pierced through the rock wall 100 meters away. Like a hot knife through butter, the hard granite appeared incredibly fragile before this strike. The beam sank unknown depths into the rock wall, leaving only a deep hole with edges smooth as a mirror, still emitting wisps of smoke and intense heat. Single target penetration, with extreme high temperature and purification effects. Yu Jingcheng looked at the bottomless hole and nodded with satisfaction. The power of this strike is enough to instantly pierce the shield of a defense-type spirit emperor. If it hits a vital spot, they would likely die on the spot. Holy Dragon Judgment Light, truly worthy of being a 20,000-year spirit ability. It is indeed overbearing. Retracting his spirit, Yu Jingcheng stepped toward the heavenly dragon horse's corpse. Just as he was about to dispose of it, a strange light caught the corner of his eye. In the shattered chest cavity of the heavenly dragon horse, a soft white halo floated quietly, looking completely out of place amidst the surrounding gore. This is Yu. Jingcheng's heart stirred. He stepped forward quickly and reached out to grab it. The halo fell into his hand, turning into a piece of crystal clear bone that looked like it was carved from crystal. Looking at the shape, it was actually a right arm bone. Inside the bone, liquid light seemed to flow, and a miniature heavenly dragon horse could faintly be seen galloping within. A spirit bone. Yu Jingcheng raised an eyebrow, a flicker of surprise crossing his eyes. I didn't expect that despite this heavenly dragon horse's heavy resentment, my luck would be so good to drop a 20,000-year light attribute right arm bone. On the Douluo continent, the drop rate of spirit bones is extremely low. The chance of a 10,000-year spirit beast producing a spirit bone is only 1 in 1,000. If this spirit bone were to leak to the outside world, it would be enough to cause a frantic scramble between the two empires and Spirit Hall, potentially triggering a bloodbath. However, Yu Jingcheng merely toyed with it for a moment before indifferently putting it into his storage spirit tool. Useless. To Yu Jingcheng. Except for external spirit bones, the 6 main spirit bones of his body must all be at least at the 100,000-year level. Better to have nothing than something inferior. This heavenly dragon horse right arm bone could, at best, serve as a bargaining chip for training subordinates or exchanging for rare resources in the future. After dealing with the heavenly dragon horse's corpse, Yu Jingcheng was in no hurry to leave. He turned around. His gaze bypassed those shivering low-level 10,000-year spirit beasts and finally fixed on the deepest part of the cavern. On a massive creature imprisoned in a specially made refined iron cage. It was a male lion. Chapter 10. A 50,000-year golden-eyed sacred lion. Absorbing a spirit ring, rank 55. Even now, with its 4 limbs crippled and lying on the ground struggling for breath, its brilliant golden mane still exuded the majesty of a king. Its eyes were a strange platinum color. Though dim, they still held a fierce, untamable glint. Golden-eyed sacred lion. Yu Jingcheng slowly walked to the iron cage, looking at this former overlord of the forest, a cruel smile curling at the corners of his mouth. 50,000 years of cultivation. Possessing the ultimate dual attributes of light and fire, its attack power is top tier among spirit beasts of the same level. This golden-eyed sacred lion was captured by Yu Jingcheng back when he was still a 100,000-year spirit beast, near an ancient ruin. It took quite a bit of effort to capture it alive back then. 50,000 years. Yu Jingcheng muttered to himself. For an ordinary spirit master, the limit for the 5th spirit ring is usually around 12,000 years. Even for those gifted geniuses, they could only barely absorb one just over 20,000 years. Jumping straight to 50,000 years. That was absolutely a suicidal act with no chance of survival. The sole shock remaining after a 50,000-year spirit beast dies is enough to turn a spirit ancestor's sea of consciousness into an idiot. But Yu Jingcheng was different. As a 100,000-year spirit beast who had undergone possession, Yu Jingcheng's mental force was already at the titled Douluo level. Furthermore, he possessed a perfect physical body tempered by the ice and fire yin-yang well. The 20,000-year heavenly dragon horse was just a warm-up for me. You are the true feast I have prepared for myself. Yu Jingcheng opened the iron cage's restriction and stepped inside. Roar! The golden-eyed sacred lion let out a low growl. It felt the dangerous aura emanating from the human before it, a dragon's majesty even. More terrifying than its own at its peak. Don't be afraid, it will be over soon. Yellow, yellow, red, black, 4 spirit rings pulsed out from Yu Jingcheng. Especially that blood-red 100,000-year spirit ring, which looked exceptionally eerie in the dim cave. Offer up your spirit ring and help me break through the shackles of rank 50. In return, I will take your power and ascend to the peak. Holy Dragon of Light, send it on its way. Yu Jingcheng waved his hand indifferently, as if shooing away a bothersome fly. Aang, the Holy Dragon of Light, already poised to strike, let out a deafening roar. Its massive dragon claw, wreathed in brilliant golden light and carrying the weight of a mountain, slammed heavily onto the golden-eyed sacred lion's head. Crack. There was no suspense, and no miracle. This top-tier spirit beast with 50,000 years of cultivation, which had once commanded the winds and clouds, was now gravely injured and dying. It had no power to resist the full-force strike of the holy dragon of light. Its skull shattered instantly, and those golden eyes, filled with resentment and ferocity, quickly dimmed. Its massive body twitched a few times before going completely limp on the ground, devoid of life. Buzz. Following the death of the golden-eyed sacred lion, a 50,000-year spirit ring slowly condensed. This was an age that ordinary spirit masters would only dare to attempt absorbing during the spirit saint stage, specifically for their 7th spirit ring. Come, let me see to what height 50,000 years of ultimate fire and light can push my strength. Yu Jingcheng sat cross-legged and formed a strange seal before his chest. A pulling force erupted, and that incredibly heavy black spirit ring slowly drifted over, settling around him. Boom! The moment the spirit ring entered his body, Yu Jingcheng's frame jolted violently. If the spirit power of the 20,000-year heavenly dragon horse was a rushing river, then the spirit power of this 50,000-year golden-eyed sacred lion was a raging tsunami of lava. Violent, scorching, and filled with destructive energy, it instantly surged into his limbs and bones. Simultaneously, an extremely powerful mental shock, carrying the golden-eyed sacred lion's sky-high resentment and unwillingness from before its death, slammed hard into Yu Jingcheng's sea of consciousness. Soul shock. This was a backlash unique to 10,000-year spirit beasts. The higher the age, the stronger the shock. A soul shock of the 50,000-year level was enough to instantly turn a spirit king with weak mental force into an idiot. But before Yu Jingcheng, this was merely an ant trying to shake a tree. HMPH, a mere remnant soul dares to act presumptuously before me. Deep within Yu Jingcheng's sea of consciousness, that vast mental force, belonging to 100,000-year spirit beast's reincarnation and comparable to a titled Douluo, instantly transformed into a golden giant dragon, letting out a majestic roar at the intruding lion's soul. Roar. With just a single dragon roar, the golden-eyed sacred lion's resentment dissolved like snow meeting a blazing sun, turning into the purest mental nourishment and being completely devoured by Yu Jingcheng. Having resolved the mental issue, what remained was the physical fusion. Sizzle, sizzle. The massive energy brought by the 50,000-year spirit ring rampaged through his meridians, attempting to tear this human body apart. However, the ice-fire golden body, tempered by the ice and fire yin-yang well, displayed its dominance at this moment. Yu Jingcheng's entire skin took on a lustrous jade-like sheen. No matter how the violent energy surged, his meridians remained as tough as ever, even greedily absorbing the energy to strengthen themselves. Time passed minute by minute. The originally violent black spirit ring gradually stabilized, pulsing with Yu Jingcheng's breathing as it perfectly integrated into his spirit. Yellow, yellow, red, black, black. 5 spirit rings were neatly arranged beneath Yu Jingcheng's feet. The configuration of 1 red and 2 black at the end would likely cause anyone else's jaw to drop if they saw it. Break. Yu Jingcheng snapped his eyes open, 2 golden beams of light shooting out. The long wavering rank barrier within his body instantly shattered under the impact of this massive spirit power. The long accumulated spirit power rose frantically like a flood breaking through a dam. Rank 51. Rank 52. ... Rank 54. Finally, Yu Jingcheng's aura settled steadily at the rank 55 Spirit King realm, breaking through 5 ranks in a row. This was due to the foundation of 100,000-year spirit beast's reincarnation, the residual medicinal power of 2 top-tier immortal herbs, and the terrifying bonuses from the over-leveled absorption of the 20,000-year and 50,000-year spirit rings. Rank 55. Yu Jingcheng clenched his fists, feeling the seemingly infinite power within his body, a wild laugh full of ambition curling his lips. Now, even without using my trump cards, I am strong enough to crush ordinary spirit emperors. If I go all out, below the spirit saint level, I am invincible. Since the main course has been finished, there's no need to keep these side dishes anymore. Yu Jingcheng restrained his wild aura, his indifferent gaze sweeping over the remaining spirit beasts in the cavern. The wind thunder bird with broken wings, the scaled armor beast with shattered scales, and that pitch-black ghost tiger currently huddled in the corner, trembling. Although they were also 10,000-year spirit beasts, in Yu Jingcheng's eyes, neither their bloodline nor their age could catch his interest anymore. Keeping them would only risk exposing this base and might even bring unnecessary trouble. Chapter 11. Another Spirit Bone Drop. Heaven Do Great Spirit Arena, code name, Holy Dragon. As your former kind, I grant you, release. Yu Jingcheng raised his hand with a wave. Several sharp golden lights flew out like swimming dragons, accurately piercing the vital points of these heavily injured spirit beasts. PFF'd, PFF'd, PFF'd. There was no fierce resistance, even the screams were extremely short-lived. Several 10,000-year spirit beasts were killed instantly, and several black spirit rings slowly rose from their corpses. They emitted a faint glow in the dim karst cave. Yu Jingcheng didn't even spare those spirit rings a glance. For the current him, spirit rings that couldn't be absorbed were nothing more than energy about to dissipate into the air. Yu Jingcheng stepped forward, preparing to give the corpses a final check. If there were valuable furs or claws, he could collect them to exchange for some gold coins. After all, in human society, it was difficult to move a single step without money. However, when Yu Jingcheng walked to the side of the ghost tiger's corpse, his footsteps suddenly paused. Yu Jingcheng let out a soft exclamation of surprise, his gaze fixed intently on the ghost tiger's thick right hind leg. There, the black mist that should have dissipated with death was actually condensing in an eerie manner. Instead of floating into the air like a spirit ring, it continuously collapsed inward and solidified. Within just a few breaths, a pitch-black leg bone, seemingly condensed from black smoke, quietly hovered above the ghost tiger's corpse. Faint black air currents swirled around this leg bone. One look at it gave the illusion that one's vision was being swallowed, as if it were a phantom shadow itself. Another spirit bone. Even with Yu Jingcheng's vast experience, he couldn't help but be a bit stunned at this moment. What is going on today? Did the goddess of luck lift her skirt? First, the heavenly dragon horse dropped a right arm bone, and now this ghost tiger actually dropped a right leg bone as well. One must know that the drop rate of spirit bones was outrageously low. Even 100,000-year spirit beast only guaranteed a single drop. For a 10,000-year spirit beast, it was a 1 in 8,000 or even 1 in 10,000 chance. Today, after killing just a few, 2 had dropped in a row. If external spirit masters knew of such luck, they would probably cough up 3 liters of blood in jealousy on the spot. Yu Jingcheng reached out and pulled the black leg bone into his hand. It felt icy cold to the touch and as light as nothing. A cultivation of roughly 25,000 years. Yu Jingcheng sensed it for a moment and made a judgment. Ghost tigers are known for their speed and deceptiveness. The skill attached to this right leg bone is most likely Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track, or Shadow Clone, or some other speed-boosting or life-saving skill. A pity. Yu Jingcheng shook his head, a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. The attributes don't match. I am ultimate light and divinity, while this spirit bone is of pure darkness and shadow attributes. If I were to forcibly absorb it, not only would it fail to increase my strength, but it would also taint my pure light holy power due to attribute conflict. Furthermore, the age is too low. Although it was somewhat of a chicken rib, it was still a 10,000-year spirit bone of over 20,000 years. Placed in an auction house, it would definitely be a treasure of astronomical price. Especially for agility attack system spirit masters, this was simply dream-tier divine equipment. Yu Jingcheng flipped his wrist. He threw this ghost tiger right leg bone into his storage spirit tool as well, joining the previous heavenly dragon horse right arm bone and other spirit bones. This storage spirit tool was also found by Yu Jingcheng in a ruin within the Sunset Forest. It had a storage space of 100 cubic meters. After finishing all this, Yu Jingcheng looked around the empty karst cave, which was now filled only with corpses. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. He raised his hand and struck out a blast of searing dragon flame, igniting the corpses of the spirit beasts. The raging fire instantly swallowed all traces. Let's go. Yu Jingcheng turned around, his figure flashing as he landed back on the back of the holy dragon of light outside the cave. Roar! The holy dragon of light spread its wings, whipping up a gale as it carried Yu Jingcheng into the sky. One day later, Heaven Do City. As the imperial capital of the Heaven Do Empire, its prosperity was far beyond what a border town could compare to. The towering city walls stood majestically, Inside, the streets were bustling with traffic, and the noise was constant. Yu Jingcheng wore a large black hooded cloak, hiding his lustrous skin, which had become too eye-catching after being tempered by ice and fire, along with his iconic short hair, within the shadows. Yu Jingcheng looked up at the Heaven-Do Great Spirit Arena. It's been months since my rebirth through possession, and I've been plotting in the deep mountains and old forests all this time. My body is about to get rusty. A cold arc curled at the corner of Yu Jingcheng's mouth. Although my current spirit power rank is only rank 55, in terms of actual combat power, it's time to find a whetstone to test my current edge. Yu Jingcheng did not hesitate for a second and strode into the Great Spirit Arena. Great Spirit Arena, Registration Office. Name, Code Name, Holy Dragon. Spirit, Holy Dragon of Light. Spirit Power Rank, Rank 55. The staff member in charge of registration's hand shook, the tip of the pen drawing a long ink mark on the paper. He looked up sharply, sizing up the mysterious person wrapped in a black robe before him with suspicion and uncertainty. Rank 55, Spirit King. Judging by this person's build and voice, they didn't seem old. In Heaven-Do City, although a rank 55 Spirit King wasn't as rare as a phoenix feather or a unicorn horn, they were definitely a mainstay that various factions would fight for. Sir, are you sure you want to register for a one-on-one duel? The staff member's tone became much more respectful. Arrange the strongest opponent. Yu Jingcheng casually tossed a bag of gold coins, his voice indifferent. Preferably an attack system over rank 58, don't find me any weaklings. Yes, please wait a moment, I will arrange it for you right away. Half an hour later, Heaven-Do Great Spirit Arena, 8th Sub-Arena. Although it wasn't the main arena, because there was a duel between high-level Spirit Kings, the spectator stands were still packed. The shouts and roars almost lifted the roof. Next to appear as the newcomer who showed astonishing confidence right after registering, Battle Spirit King, Holy Dragon. Accompanied by the host's loud cry, Yu Jingcheng slowly walked onto the stage. He wore a golden dragon-shaped mask on his face, revealing only a pair of eyes as cold as wintry stars. And opposite him, a burly man like an iron tower was already standing. The man was over 2 meters tall, with knotted muscles and skin as dark as iron, exuding a suffocatingly fierce aura. That's iron-armed violent bear, Zhao Meng. A rank 58 attack system battle Spirit King. He's already on a 7-game winning streak in the Spirit Arena. This newcomer has really bad luck, running into a tough nut like Zhao Meng right away. He's probably going to have his bones broken. There was a lot of discussion in the stands. Clearly, no one favored this slender and seemingly frail, mysterious newcomer. Hey, kid. Zhao Meng grinned savagely and cracked his wrists, making a series of clicking sounds. Wearing a mask to act all mysterious. Later, your grandpa will smash that mask and see how you act then. Chapter 12 Awakening a Second Body Martial Soul. Resisting a 10,000-year spirit ability head-on. Instant kill, shocking the whole arena. Yu Jingcheng stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze as calm as a pool of stagnant water. Too much nonsense. Yu Jingcheng faintly spat out 4 words, then extended a finger and hooked it gently. Come, seeking death. Zhao Meng instantly became enraged. Spirit possession. Roar. A violent bear roar exploded. Zhao Meng's body suddenly expanded, black fur grew wildly, and his whole person transformed into a half-human, half-bear monster. Yellow, purple, black. 5 spirit rings pulsed beneath his feet, especially that black 10,000-year spirit ring, which shone brilliantly. 5th spirit ability, violent bear earth-rending slash. Zhao Meng didn't hold back at all, directly unleashing his strongest 10,000-year spirit ability right from the start. He pressed his palms together, and khaki-colored spirit power converged frantically. It transformed into a terrifying blade light several meters long, carrying the power to split mountains and shatter rocks, slashing down towards Yu Jingcheng's head. This strike was heavy and powerful, enough to severely wound a defense system Spirit King of the same level. However, facing this exceptionally fierce strike, Yu Jingcheng actually didn't dodge or evade. He didn't even release his spirit. Is he crazy? A series of exclamations erupted from the audience. Just as that khaki blade light was about to hit his body, Yu Jingcheng finally moved. But he didn't dodge, nor did he counterattack. Instead, he slightly turned his body and used his shoulder to meet that blade light head-on. Ice fire golden body, Yu Jingcheng muttered to himself. The next moment, the skin under his black robe instantly became crystal clear, with red and blue halos flowing under the membrane, like divine jade. Boom! A violent explosion resounded throughout the arena, dust rose everywhere, and rubble flew. Everyone held their breath, staring fixedly at the center of the stage. This kid is dead for sure, right? Resisting a 10,000-year spirit ability with his physical body. Too arrogant. However, when the dust settled, the entire arena was instantly dead silent. Yu Jingcheng was seen still standing in the same spot, not even moving half a step. Yu Jingcheng patted the non-existent dust off his shoulder. Although a corner of his black robe was torn by the force, revealing skin like white mud and fat jade, on that skin, not even a white mark was left. Yu Jingcheng was secretly delighted. Sure enough, it's just as I suspected. Under that high-intensity body refining, my body has long exceeded the scope of an ordinary physique. Although I don't know the secret method for awakening a body martial soul from the body sect in Douluo 2, with a path to follow and some exploration, I can still make a name for myself. In Douluo 2, the Skydream ice worm sacrificed itself to Huo Yuhao. It gave Huo Yuhao a soulless ice. After the Ice Empress sacrificed herself to Huo Yuhao and became his spirit soul, this soulless ice spirit became the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion. Yu Jingcheng's spirit was special. Although strong, it was a body-separating martial soul. To be safe, Yu Jingcheng had very high requirements for his own body. If he could awaken a body martial soul, it would be for the best. How is this possible? Zhao Meng's eyes almost popped out. He looked at his trembling and numb hands, his face full of disbelief. Is this the full-strength strike of a level 58 attack system Spirit King? Yu Jingcheng looked up, his tone carrying a hint of disappointment. Too weak. It's not even enough to scratch an itch. This was the terror of the ice-fire golden body. Impervious to water and fire, invulnerable to blades and spears, a physical body reaching sanctity. Never mind level 58, even a level 60 spirit Emperor in the early stage would find it difficult to break his defense with physical attacks alone. Since you've finished your turn, it's mine. A golden light flashed in Yu Jingcheng's eyes. Aang! A majestic and vast dragon roar suddenly exploded within the spirit arena. Sacred, domineering, and supreme. The holy dragon of light spirit finally revealed its true form. Following that, 5 spirit rings slowly rose from beneath Yu Jingcheng's feet. Yellow, yellow, purple. In order not to attract the attention of the spirit hall, Yu Jingcheng temporarily used his mental force to disguise the 100,000-year spirit ring as purple. As for the 4th and 5th rings, they were the original black. This way, although he would still be seen as a prodigy by many, it was definitely much better than having a 100,000-year ring as the 3rd ring. Just as the audience thought the ones following would be purple and black, a deep black light suddenly bloomed. Black, black, 5 spirit rings. It was actually the terrifying configuration of 2 yellow, 1 purple, and 2 black. A 10,000-year 4th ring. All 10,000-year spirit rings. The whole arena instantly boiled over, and countless people stood up in shock and horror. Zhao Meng was even more stiffened by this terrifying spirit pressure, his very soul trembling. I'll use you to test this move. Yu Jingcheng's gaze was indifferent, and the spirit ring from the 20,000-year heavenly dragon horse beneath his feet suddenly lit up. The holy dragon of light roared as it was summoned, the spiral single horn on its forehead radiating brilliant light. 4th spirit ability, Holy Dragon Judgment Light. Swish. A platinum beam of light, only as thick as a finger but condensed to the extreme, instantly pierced through the void realm. Fast. Too fast. So fast that Zhao Meng had no time to make any defensive moves at all. Puff. A soft sound. Zhao Meng's proud, iron wall, defense was like paper in front of this beam of light. The beam instantly pierced his right shoulder, bringing out a spray of blood, and then, without losing momentum, it slammed directly into the protective shield at the back of the arena. Crack. The protective shield, which was strong enough to withstand an attack from a spirit emperor, was actually blasted into a pit full of cracks by this single strike. Ah! Only then did Zhao Meng's shrill scream finally ring out. He clutched his pierced shoulder and looked in terror at the figure that seemed like a deity. No longer having his previous arrogance, he knelt on the ground with a thud. I surrender. The whole arena was silent. One move. Instant kill. Yu Jingcheng slowly withdrew the holy dragon of light, his black robe once again covering his whole body as he turned and walked off the stage, leaving behind only a lonely and proud back, and a faint evaluation. Boring. That same day, the name, Holy Dragon, was like a sudden hurricane, sweeping through the entire Heaven Do city. From luxurious aristocratic banquets to the secret meeting rooms of major powers. On almost everyone's desk lay a report about this mysterious young man. Although the content of this report wasn't much, every line was enough to make one's heart jump. First, young. Although Yu Jingcheng wore a mask and a black robe, his voice, build, and the kind of vigor and sharpness that only young people have could not be hidden. According to the speculation of the Great Spirit Arena's senior appraisers, this person's bone age was definitely no more than 25 years old. A level 55 Spirit King at 25 years old. In the entire history of the Douluo continent, this could be called as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Second, the spirit ring configuration. Yellow, yellow, purple, black, black. Especially that fourth spirit ring, it was actually at the 10,000-year level. This completely broke the iron law of the Spirit Master's world. Chapter 13. Shui Yi's recruitment. Ning Fengji mentions matrilocal marriage. Yu Yuanzhen's fury. Is he of our clan's bloodline? Countless spirit masters have spent their entire lives researching, and all believe that the limit for a fourth spirit ring is 5,000 years. But this, holy dragon, used facts to ruthlessly slap everyone in the face. What does this mean? It means his physical quality and mental force far exceed spirit masters of the same rank by several times. Third, the spirit, holy dragon of light, body separating martial soul. This is even more unheard of. Dragon-type spirits are already the top existences among beast spirits, and light attribute dragon spirits are the rarest of the rare. Not to mention this peculiar form capable of separating from the main body to fight independently. Some speculate it's some kind of mutated spirit, while others suspect it's an ancient legacy that has been lost for a long time. But regardless of the speculation, they all point to one fact. This, holy dragon, possesses terrifying potential sufficient to reach the rank of titled Douluo. In addition to these hard indicators, the intelligence also recorded Yu Jingcheng's performance in the Great Spirit Arena in detail. Personality: proud, aloof, confident, and even carrying a hint of arrogance. Style of action: decisive in killing, ruthless in execution, showing no mercy. Facing a level 58 attack system Spirit King, he not only dared to use his physical body to resist spirit abilities head-on, but even achieved a one-shot kill. This overwhelming strength and domineering posture made countless people tremble with fear, and also made countless forces covet him. Heaven Do Imperial Palace. A middle-aged man wearing brocade clothes with an easygoing temperament was sitting at a desk, holding the intelligence report regarding Holy Dragon in his hand, his brow furrowed slightly. He was none other than the Emperor of the Heaven Do Empire, Shui Yi. In his 20s, a level 55 Spirit King, a 10,000-year fourth ring, a body-separating holy dragon of light spirit. Shui Yi's long fingers lightly tapped the tabletop, a strange look flashing in his eyes. Such talent, let alone the younger generation of the Heaven Do Empire, even if placed within Spirit Hall, no one could match it. Even the Clear Sky twin stars who have become famous in recent years, if fighting at the same level, would probably be no match for this person. Especially this holy dragon of light spirit. Shui Yi faintly felt that the purity of this holy dragon's light attribute was extremely high. If not compared with the seraphim spirit of Spirit Hall's Qian family, it might even be the number one in the present day. Body separating martial soul, Shui Yi murmured to himself. Could it be a variant from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan? No, although the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan also has light attribute mutations, it's absolutely impossible for this form to appear. Even more interesting is that this person's physical body is extremely powerful, he can actually withstand a 10,000-year spirit ability and remain unscathed. This is simply a vicious beast in human skin. Shui Yi put down the intelligence, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. If such a talent could be used by me and become an imperial consecrator, it would be for the best. Currently, the Heaven Do Empire is in dire need of talent. If this holy dragon could be recruited and then nurtured into a titled Douluo using the foundation of the Heaven Do Empire. The Heaven Do Empire could also form a crushing dominance over the Star Luo Empire in terms of high-level combat power. Note: 30 years before the start of the original plot on the Douluo continent, the power structure was slightly different. Currently, the Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall is Qian Zunji, and the previous Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall, Qian Dalu, carried out a purge of the Douluo continent before stepping down from the position. Aside from the upper three sects, no other power on the Douluo continent possessed a titled Douluo powerhouse. As for why they didn't touch the upper three sects, it's also very simple. It was because of Tang Chen. Although Tang Chen had gone to seek a divinity legacy and had been missing for a long time, he was, after all, a level 99 limit Douluo with demigod strength. How long had he really been gone? In Qian Dalu's view, Tang Chen certainly wasn't dead. If they moved against the upper three sects and Tang Chen returned in the future, Spirit Hall had a massive enterprise, and the losses would surely not be small. Moreover, there were only a few titled Douluo in the upper three sects. Even if left alone, they simply couldn't shake Spirit Hall's rule over the Douluo continent. Currently, the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire can only rely on the support of the upper three sects for titled Douluo combat power. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School supports the Heaven Do Empire. The Clear Sky sect supports the Star Luo Empire. They barely maintain a balance. For Shui Yi, if he could nurture a titled Douluo belonging to the Heaven Do Empire itself, the significance would be immense. Someone, come. Following Shui Yi's soft call, a dark shadow appeared silently in a corner of the study. Your Majesty, go and investigate the background of this holy dragon. Shui Yi instructed calmly. I want to know where he comes from, who his master is, and what his purpose is. Additionally, send someone to test the waters with him. If he can be recruited, spare no expense. Yes, the shadow took the order and vanished instantly. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Fengji looked at the intelligence in his hand, his face wearing his signature gentle smile, but deep in his eyes was a look of solemnity. Uncle Jian, Uncle Ji Yu, what do you think? Sitting beside him were the 2 great pillars of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Sword Douluo Chen Shin and Bone Douluo Ji Yu Rong. This kid is a bit wicked. Bone Douluo Ji Yu Rong rubbed his chin and gave a strange laugh. A 10,000-year fourth ring and a physical body that can resist spirit abilities head-on, this physical quality makes him look more like a defense system spirit master than I do. And that body-separating martial soul, I've lived for so many years, and it's the first time I've heard of it. Sword Douluo Chen Shin was indifferent, cradling his long sword as he coldly spat out 2 words. Very strong. For this titled Douluo, known as number 1 in attack, to say the words, very strong, was enough to prove Yu Jingcheng's weight. A spirit king not even 25 years old, this talent is indeed world-shaking. Ning Fengji sighed. Unfortunately, my eldest child is only a few years old. If he could be brought into the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School through a matrilocal marriage. Note: the original author's settings for Ning Fengji's children were inconsistent. It initially said Ning Fengji had many children, but later changed to Ning Rongrong being an only daughter. For the plot, the initial setting is used here. Speaking to this point, Ning Fengji paused, a hint of thought flashing in his eyes. As the sect master thinking of recruiting a son-in-law, Bone Douluo's eyes lit up. Although this kid is a bit arrogant, his strength and talent are indeed beyond reproach. He's worthy of our 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. No rush. Ning Fengji waved his hand. Let's make contact first and see. This person has a proud personality. He probably won't be so easily won over. Moreover, the Heaven Do Imperial family will surely make a move as well. We'll wait and see for now, to see just how muddy he can stir this pool of water. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Bang! A table was ruthlessly smashed to pieces. Yu Yuanjun looked at the intelligence in his hand, his expression so gloomy it seemed ready to drip water. Holy Dragon of Light, and a body-separating martial soul. Investigate. Investigate for me. Is he an illegitimate child from one of our clan's side branches wandering outside, or has someone stolen and learned my clan's dragonization secret art? If he is of the clan's bloodline, he must be brought back to recognize his ancestors and return to the clan. If he is an outsider. Killing intent was fully revealed in Yu Yuanzhan's eyes. The majesty of the dragon clan shall not be desecrated. Chapter 14. Yu Luomian, find this, holy dragon, study it thoroughly, and Xiaoging's spirit will definitely evolve. Elder brother, calm down a little. At that moment, Yu Luomian, who had been standing silently below, slowly stepped forward. He picked up the intelligence report that had been slapped onto the table. His gaze lingered on the description of body-separating martial soul, for a long time, a thoughtful light flickering in his eyes. Elder brother, don't you think this characteristic of a body-separating martial soul seems very familiar? Yu Luomian raised his head, looking meaningfully at Yu Yuanzhan. It is indeed highly possible that this is a bloodline of our Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan that has been scattered outside. Or even, some kind of beneficial mutation we never considered. Yu Yuanzhan's brow furrowed tightly, he was just about to refute. But upon seeing the pointed look in Yu Luomian's eyes, a bolt of lightning suddenly flashed through his mind. He froze. Body-separating martial soul. For others, this term might merely be peculiar. But for him, Yu Yuanzhan, it was an unforgettable pain. It was also the biggest laughingstock of the entire Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan for so many years. After all, although Yu Luomian didn't spell it out, Yu Yuanzhan understood perfectly well in his heart. His most beloved, most hopeful youngest son. The one regarded as the family's disgrace, who left the sect on his own, Yu Xiaoging. Didn't he awaken a body-separating martial soul? Only, Yu Xiaoging's body-separating martial soul was a pig-like creature that could only fart, utterly useless, Luo San Pao. Whereas the young man codenamed Holy Dragon, in the intelligence report. His body-separating martial soul was the legendary Holy Dragon of Light, at the pinnacle of the Dragon clan. Both are body-separating martial souls. One is in the mud, worthless and hopeless. The other is in the heavens, radiant and glorious like the sun. Yu Yuanzhan took a deep breath, his tone extremely complex. This method of fighting with a separated body might not be the mark of a trash spirit, but rather a sign of some, extremely high-level mutation. Exactly. Yu Luomian nodded and analyzed. Although Xiaoging's Luo San Pao is trash, it truly separated from the body. Now this, Holy Dragon, is the same. This indicates that our clan's bloodline indeed harbors the body-separating gene. Perhaps Xiaoging's mutation failed, resulting in a pig, while this young man's mutation succeeded, atavistically becoming a holy dragon of light. Hearing this, the anger in Yu Yuanzhan's eyes gradually subsided, replaced by a deep sense of loss and melancholy. He seemed to age several years in an instant. Mutation. Yu Yuanzhan muttered to himself, then let out a long sigh. If Xiaoging had even 1/10,000th of this person's talent, why would I have? At this point, Yu Yuanzhan's voice faltered, and a thick layer of worry surfaced in his eyes. Speaking of which, it's been several months since Xiaoging left the sect and completely lost contact. Yu Yuanzhan rubbed his temples, a trace of weariness in his tone. Ever since he left in anger, I've been sending covert agents to follow him, wanting to ensure his safety. But just a few months ago, he suddenly vanished without a trace, as if he evaporated from the world. I sent out several teams, turned Heaven Do City upside down, but couldn't find a single trace of him. That was his most beloved son. Although his talent was trash, although he left the sect. But blood is thicker than water, how could he truly not care at all? Seeing his elder brother's worried appearance, Yu Luomian stepped forward, gently patted Yu Yuanzhan's shoulder, and comforted him. Elder brother, just set your heart at ease. That child Xiaoging, although his spirit is no good, his mind is sharp, and his theoretical knowledge is exceptionally solid. Besides, he is, after all, a 29th level spirit grandmaster. Yu Luomian smiled, his tone light. In the spirit master's world, a spirit grandmaster may not be considered a powerhouse, but they are certainly not ordinary people without any strength to tie up a chicken. As long as he doesn't go to the dangerous core areas where spirit beasts gather, protecting himself should be more than enough. Perhaps he just wanted to find a quiet place to calm down, or maybe he encountered some fortuitous opportunity and went into seclusion to cultivate. How could anything happen to him? Hearing this, Yu Yuanzhan's expression softened slightly. Right, a 29th level spirit grandmaster is considered a person of some standing in ordinary towns. As long as he doesn't provoke those high-level spirit masters, surviving shouldn't be difficult. I hope so. Yu Yuanjun sighed. Elder brother, wait. Yu Luomian, who had been comforting Yu Yuanjun, suddenly stiffened completely. His breathing also became rapid. What is it? Yu Yuanjun was taken aback by his sudden reaction. I've thought of it. I've thought of an excellent possibility. Yu Luomian quickly walked up to Yu Yuanjun, placed both hands on the table, his voice trembling slightly with excitement. Elder brother, you just said it yourself, both this, Holy Dragon, and Xiaoging possess extremely rare body-separating martial souls. What does that mean? It means their spirits are fundamentally of the same origin. Yu Luomian took a deep breath, a self-proclaimed wise light flashing in his eyes. If we consider Xiaoging's Luo Sanpao as a defective product of a failed mutation, then this, Holy Dragon of Light is the perfect ultimate form of a successful mutation. Since they share the same origin, then the evolutionary path between them must have traceable clues. Hearing this, the dim thunder in Yu Yuanjun's eyes instantly brightened, as if he had grasped the last straw before drowning. Second brother, I mean, the one who tied the bell must untie it. The more Yu Luomian spoke, the clearer his train of thought seemed, an absolutely genius-level conception. If we can find this, Holy Dragon, and invite him back to the family, we wouldn't need him to do anything. Just let us study the characteristics of his spirit, observe how his spirit power flows between his external spirit and his body. Or even, if we could obtain a drop of his essence blood for comparison, we would have an extremely high chance of reverse engineering and finding a method to remedy the defects of the spirit. Since someone can mutate into a Holy Dragon of Light, that proves this path is viable. As long as we find that critical point, perhaps we can trigger a second awakening in Xiaoging's Luo Sanpao, evolving it from a trash spirit into a true dragon. Boom! Yu Luomian's words struck Yu Yuanjun's heart like a morning bell and evening drum. Evolve Xiaoging's spirit, turn that Luo Sanpao, regarded as the family's disgrace, into a real dragon. This was something Yu Yuanjun didn't even dare dream of, the biggest knot in his heart for half his life. Now, this hope was actually laid out before his eyes. Reverse engineering the evolutionary path. Reverse engineering the evolutionary path. Yu Yuanjun paced back and forth excitedly in the room, his hands unconsciously clenching, knuckles turning white from the force. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Since both are body-separating martial souls, why is someone else a holy dragon, while my son gets a pig? Chapter 15. Recruiting Douluo Bo with a detoxification method. Joining the sect. Yu Jingcheng. Isn't that like walking into a tiger's den? Something must have gone wrong, or perhaps some key guidance is missing. As long as we uncover the secrets of this holy dragon, Xiaoging can be saved. My Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan will also gain another peerless genius. Yu Yuanjun stopped abruptly, turned around, and stared at Yu Luomian with burning eyes. Second brother. Yu Yuanjun's voice was powerful and resonant, carrying an unquestionable authority. This matter is of great importance. It even concerns the future rise or fall of our sect. I don't feel at ease leaving this to others. You must personally go to Heaven Do City. Yu Yuanjun walked up to Yu Luomian, clapped him heavily on the shoulder, and solemnly entrusted him. You must find this holy dragon. No matter what he asks for, gold coins, spirit bones, or even beautiful women and status. As long as the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan can afford it, agree to everything. Remember, your attitude must be sincere. You must not put on the airs of the upper three sects. What we want is cooperation and research. We must not provoke this genius. If you can get him to agree to cooperate with our research and find a way for Xiaoging's spirit to evolve, you will be the family's #1 contributor. Hearing this, Yu Luomian's expression turned solemn as he cupped his fists to accept the order. Rest assured, big brother. For the sake of the family and for that child Xiaoging, I will definitely bring this holy dragon back. I'll head for Heaven Do City immediately. With that, Yu Luomian didn't delay and turned to leave the council hall. Watching Yu Luomian's departing figure, Yu Yuanjun let out a long sigh of relief, his furrowed brows finally relaxing. He walked to the window and looked toward the direction of Heaven Do City. Xiaoging, oh Xiaoging, even though I can't find you personally, I will certainly pave the way for you. When you return, I will definitely give you a massive surprise. When that time comes, let's see who still dares to call you trash. Inside a penthouse suite at the Heaven Do Grand Hotel. It seems the effect of the title, Holy Dragon, is even better than I imagined. Yu Jingcheng stood by the window, overlooking Heaven Do City. However, fame was just a stepping stone, he had more important things to do now. Yu Jingcheng changed into plain clothes, restrained his aura, and walked out of the hotel looking like an ordinary wealthy young master. He didn't wander aimlessly but specifically frequented various taverns, teahouses, and even information exchanges in the black market. He was looking for someone. Or rather, he was confirming someone's whereabouts. Douluo Bo. After half a day of discreet inquiries, Yu Jingcheng finally pieced together the information he wanted. The current Douluo Bo was not yet the world-renowned, poison Douluo, but an 80-something rank spirit Douluo. Though famous for his poison techniques and having an eccentric, aloof personality that earned him the name, Old Poison. But in the eyes of truly top-tier powers, he wasn't yet considered an untouchable existence. Douluo Bo at the spirit Douluo level. Yu Jingcheng sat in the corner of an inconspicuous teahouse, a glint of sharp light flashing in his eyes. Calculated according to the timeline, he should currently be suffering greatly from the backlash of the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison. And he should be about to discover, or has just discovered, that precious land in the Sunset Forest. The ice and fire yin-yang well. That was a crucial part of Yu Jingcheng's plan. Although he had already intercepted the immortal herbs inside, plucking them clean and leaving not even a single hair for Tang San. However, the special environment of the ice and fire yin-yang well itself, as well as those two springs of extreme cold and extreme heat, remained a rare holy land for cultivation. Especially for Douluo Bo, it could effectively suppress the Jade Phosphor Serpent poison within his body. More importantly, his clone, the Little Golden Earth Dragon King, was still there. Yu Jingcheng's brow furrowed slightly. If Douluo Bo barges in and sees the Little Golden Earth Dragon King, given his personality, he'd probably kill it on the spot. Then I would suffer a huge loss. He had to intercept Douluo Bo before he could act. Moreover, Douluo Bo was currently at a bottleneck in his strength, and it was also the most painful stage of his body being eroded by toxins. For Yu Jingcheng, this was a God-given opportunity. As long as I can cure the poison in him and then offer significant rewards, it's not impossible for this old poison to be used by me. Yu Jingcheng calculated in his heart. After all, he had read the original work. In other novels, the detoxification method was like an immortal herb redemption code. But with Yu Jingcheng, the immortal herbs had all been plucked bald by him. They could indeed be used to win over Douluo Bo. Although Douluo Yan hasn't been born yet, Douluo Bo's son, Douluo Shin, must also be suffering from the serpent poison. Solving Douluo Bo's poison was not a difficult task. In this world where the strong prey on the weak, acting alone was ultimately an inferior strategy. No matter how high his talent, before he fully grew up, he needed a Dao protector and his own power base. Thinking of power bases, another option inevitably surfaced in Yu Jingcheng's mind. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. With his current spirit's performance, as long as he was willing, he could easily fabricate an identity as a collateral disciple living abroad, or a hidden branch bloodline. Returning to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan would be as easy as turning over a hand. In fact, as long as he revealed the Holy Dragon of Light, Spirit, Yu Yuanjun would likely treat him like an ancestor, pouring the entire clan's strength into nurturing him. Backing by one of the upper three sects meant resources, status, and protection were all within reach. This seemed like a shortcut. But after only a moment's thought, Yu Jingcheng decisively shook his head, nipping the idea in the bud. No, the risk is too great. First was the issue of identity. This Holy Dragon persona of his was like it had popped out of a crack in a rock. His past experiences were a total blank. If he joined the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, those old fellows would surely get to the bottom of things, even checking his birthplace and who his parents were. One lie requires countless lies to cover up. Once a flaw was found, it would be the capital crime of deceiving the sect. Secondly, and most fatally, his current body belonged to Yu Shaogang. Though the soul had changed, the spirit had mutated, and his temperament had transformed completely. But bloodline cannot be faked, and the subtle details of bones and meridians cannot be faked either. Who was Yu Yuanjun? He was a rank 95 titled Douluo and, more importantly, Yu Shaoging's biological father. It might be fine from a distance, but if they spent time together day and night, it was hard to guarantee Yu Yuanjun wouldn't notice something was amiss. If he discovers that while this body belongs to his son, the core inside has been replaced by someone else. A trace of chill flashed in Yu Jingcheng's eyes. The grudge of possession of one's own child is irreconcilable. When that time comes, forget about nurturing. Yu Yuanjun would probably go insane, tear him into 10,000 pieces, and extract his soul for refinement. This was simply offering himself up like a sheep into a tiger's den. The waters of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan are too deep, and the karma is too heavy. I can't touch it for now. Chapter 16. Clone devours light bloodline to evolve. Spreading information to fish. Dugu Shin takes the bait. At least until I have the strength to rival a titled Douluo, I absolutely cannot let Yu Yuanjun get close to me. Yu Jingcheng drained the tea in his cup, stood up, and cast his gaze toward the sunset forest. It's still safer to deal with Dugu Bo first. A wild spirit Douluo who needs something from me is much safer than a titled Douluo family that knows my background inside out. Having made up his mind, Yu Jingcheng no longer hesitated. Target: Sunset Forest. On this return trip, Yu Jingcheng specifically purchased a batch of top-tier medicinal herb seeds. Taking them back to plant in the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well would yield rewards very quickly. At the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well, Yu Jingcheng took out the seeds. Although these seeds couldn't compare to immortal herbs, they were the best among common varieties. In the outside world, they would take at least decades or even centuries to mature. But here, Yu Jingcheng crouched down and buried a completely crimson seed into the scorching soil near the blazing Yang Spring. A miraculous scene occurred. As soon as the seed entered the soil, it seemed to be summoned by some mysterious power. In just a few breaths, a tender green sprout broke through the earth. Immediately after, the stem and leaves unfurled, growing taller and thicker at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, a medicinal herb that originally required 3 years to grow had already taken shape, emitting a faint medicinal fragrance. While 10,000 years in a day is an exaggeration, this 10-fold or 100-fold growth speed is the real deal. Yu Jingcheng nodded with satisfaction and briskly sorted the remaining seeds, planting them on both sides of the frigid Yin Spring and the blazing Yang Spring. After finishing all this, Yu Jingcheng brushed the dirt off his hands and looked at the little golden earth dragon king. The little golden earth dragon king's cultivation level had risen from 6,000 years last time to 7,500 years. Its strength had increased significantly, and its body size had also expanded dramatically. It had transformed from a small beast into a massive creature with a wingspan of 4 or 5 meters. This aura. Yu Jingcheng was suddenly taken aback, his expression shifting slightly. I haven't paid attention for just a few days, and it's already become like this. Yu Jingcheng discovered with surprise. The little golden earth dragon king's aura had undergone an earth-shaking change. The originally somewhat muddled earth attribute aura was rapidly fading. In its place was an increasingly pure and holy light attribute aura. The golden scales on its body were no longer that heavy earthy gold. Instead, they began to transform into a crystal-clear white gold, faintly exuding a majestic dragon pressure. What shocked Yu Jingcheng even more was this. Through the connection deep within his soul, he actually sensed a newly born instinct from the information fed back by this clone. Devour. It wasn't devouring flesh like ordinary spirit beasts, but rather a predation targeted at the same source. The little golden earth dragon king had actually awakened the domineering ability to devour other light attribute spirit beasts, directly plundering their bloodline origin to supplement itself. As this, the hidden talent brought about by the mutation. Yu Jingcheng's eyes lit up. Under the forced reshaping of the holy dragon of light bloodline, the little golden earth dragon king desperately craved completeness and evolution. It was like an insatiable black hole, instinctively wanting to devour all light power to complete itself and leap toward a higher level of life. Yu Jingcheng carefully sensed the bloodline rhythm within the clone, his eyes flashing with sharp light as he quickly deduced in his mind. Right now, although it is named the Golden Earth Dragon King, it has essentially moved beyond the scope of an Earth Dragon and is in an awkward transition period toward becoming a true dragon. But if I use this devour ability to continuously hunt high-quality light-type spirit beasts for it to consume, Its bloodline purity will rise exponentially. Yu Jingcheng looked at the small beast acting spoiled like a puppy at his feet, his gaze becoming incredibly fervent. Calculated according to this current evolution speed, there was no need to wait for 100,000 years. Perhaps once this clone's cultivation reached the level of tens of thousands of years, it could completely shed its Earth Dragon mortal coil and complete its ultimate evolution. When that time came, it would no longer be the little golden Earth Dragon King. Instead, just like his original spirit, it would become a true, living holy dragon of light. Two holy dragon of lights. Yu Jingcheng took a deep breath, suppressing the excitement in his heart. One will fight by my side, and the other can serve as a second life, which I can release back into the Douluo Great Forest later. Before coming to the Sunset Forest to set his plans and possess Yu Shaogang. Yu Jingcheng was still the clan chief of the Golden Earth Dragon clan in the Douluo Great Forest. Even in the worst-case scenario, if Yu Jingcheng died, he could reincarnate into the little Golden Earth Dragon King and evolve into a true holy dragon of light through devouring. At that time, he would be one of only 3 true dragons. DTN could not possibly sit idly by, he would certainly protect him. Returning to Heaven Do City, Yu Jingcheng rented a pharmacy and found someone to spread information, saying someone claimed to be able to cure all the world's exotic poisons. He wanted to see if he could use this method to attract Douluo or his son, Douluo, to come of their own accord. Then, he could naturally use the detoxification method to bring Douluo under his command. In the west of Heaven Do City, a small pharmacy named Huichin Hall quietly opened for business. The storefront was small and the location was remote, but in the past few days, it had become a hot topic in the local spirit master circles. The reason was simple. A couplet with an incredibly arrogant tone was hanging at the shop's entrance. The first line, all difficult and complicated diseases can be cured. The second line, no exotic poison in the world cannot be resolved. The horizontal scroll, miraculous hands bringing back spring. Such arrogant words naturally drew a lot of ridicule and doubt, but Yu Jingcheng sat firmly, like a fisherman on his platform, not panicking at all. He was waiting for the person who truly needed this couplet. On the afternoon of the third day, as the sun moved toward the west, the pharmacy was quiet and deserted. Yu Jingcheng was boredly flipping through a medical book when the light at the door suddenly dimmed. "Boss, did you hang the couplet at the door?" A slightly weak voice, yet carrying a hint of cold arrogance, rang out. Yu Jingcheng put down the medical book and looked up. He saw a young man standing at the door, about 25 or 26 years old, with a slender build and handsome features. However, the young man's face had an unnatural paleness, his eye sockets were sunken, and even on the back of his hand exposed outside his sleeve, several dark green veins were faintly visible. Most striking was his long, dark green hair and his eyes, which also shimmered with an eerie green luster. "The fish has taken the bait." Yu Jingcheng laughed inwardly, but his face remained impassive. He just gave the other party a casual glance and said nonchalantly, "Since it's hanging there, I naturally hung it. So, is this customer here for treatment, or to cause trouble?" Hearing this, the young man frowned slightly, seemingly dissatisfied with Yu Jingcheng's nonchalant attitude, but he still suppressed his temper and walked into the shop. The newcomer was none other than Douluo's only son, Douluo. He suffered greatly from the family's hereditary toxin, although his father, Douluo, had been trying to suppress it. As his age and spirit power increased, that bone-deep pain grew day by day. Passing by this place today and seeing that arrogant couplet, although he felt it was likely a Jianggu swindler, that faint sliver of survival instinct in his heart still drove him to walk inside. Chapter 17. Who says I can't make it up? Yu Jingcheng. My master is a reclusive titled Douluo. Douluo is shocked. Since the boss dares to boast that he can cure all the world's strange poisons, then I shall test you. Douluo pulled over a chair and sat down, his gaze fixed intently on Yu Jingcheng, his tone carrying a hint of testing. I have a friend who suffers from a strange ailment. Whenever it's overcast or raining, he feels a numbing itch in his ribs, which gradually intensifies and lasts for over an hour. Every day at midnight, he experiences a needle-like stabbing pain at the crown of his head and the soles of his feet, causing full-body spasms and agonizing suffering. Furthermore, the duration of this pain continues to extend as his cultivation level increases. Speaking to this point, Douluo Shin's voice trembled slightly, clearly recalling the miserable state he was in when the symptoms manifested. Douluo Shin took a deep breath, forcing himself to remain calm as he asked. I wonder if the boss has ever heard of such symptoms. If you can give a proper explanation, the consultation fee will be substantial. After listening, Yu Jingcheng did not answer immediately. He first feigned a frown, his fingers lightly tapping the tabletop as if searching through relevant medical cases in his mind. In reality, Yu Jingcheng was already blooming with joy inside. These symptoms were simply a textbook-level backlash of the jade phosphorus snake poison. He had read about it until he knew it by heart in the original work. After a moment of silence, just as the hope in Douluo Shin's eyes began to dim and he prepared to stand up and leave, Yu Jingcheng suddenly stopped tapping, looked up, and stared at Douluo Shin with a gaze as sharp as a torch. The numbing itch in the ribs is because the toxins have settled into the liver meridian. The midnight stabbing pain is the poisonous qi attacking the heart, flowing upward against the current. Yu Jingcheng's voice was not loud, but every word was like a pearl of wisdom, exploding in Douluo Shin's ears like a clap of thunder. This poison is overbearing and sinister, incomparable to ordinary toxins. Yu Jingcheng stood up, leaning forward slightly with both hands braced on the counter. He stared at Douluo Shin and said word by word, "If I'm not mistaken, this is not some strange ailment, but a case of being deeply poisoned. This poison is named jade phosphorus snake poison." Boom! Douluo Shin's pupils suddenly constricted, and his whole body froze in place as if struck by lightning. He never expected that this seemingly young shopkeeper could see through it with just a few sentences of description. He had exposed the nightmare that had plagued his family for generations in a single breath. However, Yu Jingcheng did not give him a chance to catch his breath, immediately dropping the final bombshell. A meaningful smile curled at the corner of his mouth as his gaze fell on Douluo Shin's dark green hair, and he said with certainty, "Possessing such traits and being afflicted by the poison of the jade phosphor serpent. Your Excellency, your surname should be Douluo, shouldn't it?" Douluo Shin stood up abruptly, staring fixedly at Yu Jingcheng. In his extreme shock, even his breathing became rapid. Sir is truly a divine being." Douluo Shin's voice trembled. That original hint of arrogance had long since vanished, replaced by deep reverence and wild joy. The secret of the jade phosphorus snake poison was unknown to outsiders except for the father and son. This young boss before him not only identified his symptoms in one go but even guessed his surname. This was absolutely no coincidence. "Since Sir can see the symptoms, you must have a way to save us." Douluo Shin spoke urgently, as if grasping at the last straw for survival. "I am Douluo Shin. I apologize for my offense just now, please forgive me, sir. My father is the one known in the spirit master's world as the Poison Dao Sovereign, Douluo Bo. He has also been troubled by this poison for many years. If Sir would be willing to grace our humble abode, my father will surely reward you handsomely. No matter what Sir wants, as long as my Douluo family has it, we will not refuse." Yu Jingcheng thought to himself, "It's done," but on the surface, he maintained an unfathomable indifference. He gently closed the medical book and nodded. "Since we have met, it is a matter of fate. Lead the way. The Douluo residence was located in a quiet corner of Heaven-Do City, surrounded by dense vegetation that exuded a cold, green aura. As soon as they stepped into the main hall, a heart-palpitating, sickly sweet scent rushed over them. In the center of the hall, a thin old man sat with his eyes closed, resting. His hair and beard were all green, and his face was sinister, yet he just sat there quietly. It was none other than Douluo Bo. Father. Before Douluo Shin even entered the door, he could not contain the excitement in his heart and shouted loudly, "I've found an expert who can cure the deadly poison in our bodies." Douluo Bo suddenly opened his eyes, two beams of green light shooting out like sharp swords. He glanced at his joy-filled son, then shifted his gaze to Yu Jingcheng, who followed behind, his brow instantly furrowed into a deep frown. "Exoner, have you been deceived?" Douluo Bo gave a cold snort, and the pressure belonging to a spirit Douluo was instantly released, pressing directly toward Yu Jingcheng. "A wet behind the ears brat dares to claim he can cure my jade phosphorus snake poison." Facing this overwhelming pressure, Yu Jingcheng stood with his hands behind his back as if nothing were happening, his expression composed. The holy dragon of light bloodline within his body circulated slightly, isolating the cold, poisonous chi. Senior Douluo, one should not judge a person by their appearance. Yu Jingcheng spoke calmly, his voice neither humble nor arrogant. Numbing itch in the ribs on rainy days. Needle-like stabbing pain at the crown and soles at midnight. I imagine Senior has experienced these sensations far more deeply than your son, has he not? Douluo's pupils suddenly shrank, and the pressure on his body was instantly retracted, replaced by profound shock and suspicion. In a flash, he appeared in front of Yu Jingcheng, staring intensely into his eyes. Kid, how do you know all this? Who told you? This was the Douluo family's absolute secret. If their enemies knew this was their moment of weakness, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yu Jingcheng had already anticipated this question and unhurriedly brought out the script he had prepared. Yu Jingcheng's expression dimmed, and a perfectly timed hint of sorrow and reminiscence appeared in his eyes. This junior was orphaned at a young age. They both died tragically at the hands of fallen spirit masters. Fortunately, my master passed by, saved me, and took me back to the deep mountains to be raised. At this point, Yu Jingcheng paused, his gaze becoming reverent and profound. My master is a reclusive titled Douluo. What? Douluo and Douluo Shin cried out in shock simultaneously. In this world where titled Douluo were the pinnacle, every titled Douluo was a named powerhouse. A reclusive titled Douluo. This was simply unheard of. Yu Jingcheng ignored their shock and continued. My master's strength is not only heaven-reaching, but his research into pharmacology and toxicology is unparalleled in the world. He once studied the jade phosphor serpent spirit in an ancient text and deduced the symptoms and cure for its toxin backlash. However, my master has been indifferent to fame and fortune all his life and has never left the mountains, so this cure has never seen the light of day. All of this junior's medical skills were passed down by my master. And the symptoms described by Brother Douluo Shin are exactly the same as those described by my master, which is why I dared to give it a try. Chapter 18. Revealing the Spirit, 4 Rings, 10,000 Year. Douluo, truly worthy of being a titled Douluo's disciple. After hearing these words, the suspicion in Douluo's eyes mostly dissipated, replaced by a kind of solemnity and reverence. If this young man's master really was a titled Douluo, then it explained how he knew these secrets. Moreover, to have taught a disciple who could remain unflustered even under the pressure of a spirit Douluo, that benevolent master's strength must be truly unfathomable. So it's a case of a famous master producing a brilliant disciple. No wonder you possess such courage. Douluo put away his earlier contempt, and his tone softened somewhat. Might I ask your esteemed master's surname and given name? If this old man has the opportunity in the future, I will definitely pay a visit. My master is a carefree wanderer who does not wish to reveal his name. Please forgive this, Senior. Yu Jingcheng cupped his hands in a salute, deflecting the question flawlessly. Douluo nodded, not pressing the matter. After all, masters often had eccentric temperaments, this was perfectly normal. Douluo Shin, standing to the side, was now wide-eyed, looking at Yu Jingcheng as if he were gazing at a mountain of gold. A titled Douluo's disciple. That status made one an honored guest anywhere. Brother Yu. Douluo Shin enthusiastically stepped forward, his tone filled with curiosity and a desire to befriend him. Since your esteemed master is a titled Douluo, Brother Yu's talent must surely be extraordinary and dazzling. Might I ask what level of cultivation Brother Yu has reached now? And what kind of spirit did you awaken? Hearing this, Douluo also pricked up his ears, his gaze burning as he looked at Yu Jingcheng. He was also very curious. What kind of strength did one possess to be noticed and accepted as a disciple by a reclusive titled Douluo? Upon hearing this, the corners of Yu Jingcheng's mouth lifted slightly, revealing a confident and composed smile. Since Brother Douluo wishes to see, then I shall make a fool of myself. As soon as the words fell, Yu Jingcheng did not sink his chi into his dantian or assume any stance like a normal spirit master would. He merely snapped his fingers lightly. In that instant, a dazzling, resplendent golden light erupted from the space beside him without any warning. The originally dim, gloomy, and jade phosphorus snake-scented hall of the Douluo residence was instantly enveloped by this sacred radiance. It was like a sky thick with dark clouds suddenly pierced by sunlight sharp as a blade. Roar, *, accompanied by a high-pitched, majestic dragon's roar, a gigantic dragon, its entire body seemingly forged from white gold and wreathed in sacred flames, materialized out of thin air. It did not attach itself to Yu Jingcheng's body. Instead, it coiled above his head, its pair of majestic golden dragon pupils indifferently gazing down at the father and son, Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin, below. A sacred aura, transcending all living beings, instantly swept through the entire hall. This is. Douluo Shin instinctively squinted from the sudden intense light. When he clearly saw the form of the giant dragon, his eyes widened abruptly, and he exclaimed in shock. A body-separating martial soul. A true dragon of the light attribute. The rumors that had been causing a stir in Heaven-Do City these past few days instantly flashed through his mind. His finger, pointing at Yu Jingcheng, trembled slightly. Could it be you or that legendary, holy dragon? That rumored peerless genius possessing a body-separating martial soul, hailed as a successful mutation. To think it was actually this young divine physician before him. Seated at the head of the hall, Douluo Bo was far more shocked than Douluo Shin at this moment. As a spirit Douluo specializing in poison techniques, his perception of auras was the most acute. The moment that white gold dragon appeared, the jade phosphor serpent emperor poison within his body, originally restless, cold, and bone-eroding, actually reacted as if encountering a natural enemy, instinctively producing a trace of fear and retreat. This pure light aura, it's not just light, this is ultimate light. Douluo Bo's heart was roiling with shock. An ultimate attribute. That was something that only existed in legends, possessing absolute suppression against all evil, sinister, and poisonous things. No wonder this kid dared to say he could cure the jade phosphorus snake poison. Possessing a spirit with this ultimate light, he was inherently impervious to all poisons. However, the shock had only just begun. Senior Douluo, watch closely. Yu Jingcheng spoke lightly, light flickering at his feet. One after another, spirit rings slowly rose from beneath his feet, rhythmically pulsing around his body. The first ring, yellow. The second ring, yellow. The third ring, purple. The first 3 spirit rings, while also the optimal configuration, were still within an acceptable range for a powerhouse like Douluo Bo. But then, the 4th spirit ring rose. It was a black so deep it was heart palpitating. Black, a 10,000-year spirit ring. Immediately following, the 5th ring, also pitch black like ink, another 10,000-year spirit ring. Yellow, yellow, purple, black, black. 5 spirit rings, shining upon each other, emitting a suffocating spirit power fluctuation. 5 ring spirit king. Douluo Shin's eyes nearly popped out of his head, his mouth agape wide enough to fit an egg. This young man before him, who looked barely over 20, was actually a spirit king above level 50. How was that possible? Even those two hailed as the Haoshan twin stars probably didn't have such cultivation at age 20, right? Douluo Bo's gaze, however, was firmly locked onto that 4th spirit ring. 4th spirit ring, 10,000 year. Douluo Bo sucked in a sharp breath, feeling his scalp go numb. It was an ironclad rule in the spirit master's world. The limit for the 4th spirit ring was a purple ring around 5,000 years. Only upon reaching the 5th spirit ring was it possible to absorb a black, 10,000-year spirit ring. Yet before him, this kid's 4th spirit ring was actually black. What did this signify? It signified that his physical constitution, his mental force, at the spirit ancestor level had already been comparable to that of a spirit king, or even beyond. What a terrifyingly monstrous talent. Douluo Bo murmured to himself, the last trace of doubt in his eyes completely vanishing. If he had harbored a sliver of doubt about that reclusive titled Douluo Master before, now he was utterly convinced. If not for a titled Douluo imparting all his knowledge, if not for heaven-defying opportunities and profound heritage, how could one possibly cultivate such a monster who broke the ironclad rules of the Spirit Master's world? In truth, what Douluo Bo did not know was, Yu Jingcheng's 4th spirit ring was already the result after he had concealed its true nature through means. With Douluo Bo's current spirit Douluo level mental force, he was utterly incapable of seeing through the alterations Yu Jingcheng had made to his spirit rings. Yu Jingcheng withdrew his spirit and spirit rings, and the pressure in the hall instantly dissipated. Looking at the stunned father and son, he straightened his sleeves and said with an air of nonchalance, "My master once said that absorbing a 10,000-year spirit beast for the 4th spirit ring while dangerous, is not impossible as long as one's physique is sufficiently strong. This junior, though lacking in talent, barely managed to accomplish it. This phrase, barely managed to accomplish it, sounded, to Douluo's ears, like the pinnacle of humble bragging. But at this moment, he couldn't muster even a hint of resentment, instead feeling filled with reverence. Heroes emerge from the young, heroes emerge from the young. Douluo let out a long sigh, stood up, and solemnly cupped his fist towards Yu Jingcheng in salute, his attitude undergoing a complete transformation. Young friend Yu, your talent is unparalleled, and your master is truly a transcendent being. Earlier, this old man was blind and slighted an honored guest. I ask young friend not to take offense. At this moment, Douluo completely set aside the airs of a spirit Douluo. A 20-year-old spirit king, a monster possessing an ultimate spirit and breaking spirit ring limits, with a mysterious titled Douluo standing behind him. Such a person was destined to become a titled Douluo in the future. Forming a good relationship with such a person held 100 benefits and no harm for his Douluo family. Senior, you exaggerate. Yu Jingcheng smiled faintly, returning the salute. Then, his gaze swept over Douluo and Douluo, getting straight to the point. Since Senior trusts me, let us discuss the matter of detoxification. Although the jade phosphorus snake poison is fierce, before me, who possesses the holy dragon of light spirit, it is not incurable. However, Yu Jingcheng deliberately paused, a trace of difficulty appearing on his face. However what? Douluo hurriedly pressed, more anxious than anyone, as this concerned his very life. Chapter 20. The dagger is drawn, raising the banner to recruit. Douluo, all in. All in is a kind of wisdom. Yu Jingcheng let out a light sigh, a perfectly measured look of difficulty and inner conflict appearing on his face. Senior Douluo, brother Douluo, to be perfectly honest. He slowly reined in his smile, his tone becoming somewhat heavy. This detoxification method is my master's unique, secret transmission. When I formally became his disciple, my master established a strict rule: the school's core teachings are absolutely not to be transmitted to outsiders. If my master were to learn that I privately passed on such a secret art to outsiders. At this point, Yu Jingcheng shook his head with a bitter smile, not continuing further, but the implication was crystal clear. Although I wish to help you, I am powerless to do so. A master's command is difficult to defy. Hearing this, Douluo, who had been filled with hope, instantly paled, the light in his eyes dimming. Meanwhile, Douluo frowned deeply, his expression shifting uncertainly. He took a deep look at Yu Jingcheng, not doubting the truthfulness of these words in his heart. On the contrary, it only made him more certain of the existence of that, titled Douluo, behind Yu Jingcheng. The more powerful a spirit master, the more importance they placed on their legacy. Not transmitting unique secret arts to outsiders was an unwritten rule in the spirit master's world. If Yu Jingcheng had agreed casually, that would have made Douluo suspicious of some trickery. Douluo, hands clasped behind his back, began pacing back and forth in the hall, weighing the pros and cons in his mind. What if he forced this kid to hand over the detoxification method? No, forget that the kid himself was a prodigy with a 10,000-year fourth spirit ring. Just the unknown depths of that titled Douluo teacher behind him was absolutely not someone the current Douluo could afford to offend. No matter how arrogant Douluo was, he wouldn't dare gamble the lives of his entire family on the wrath of a titled Douluo. But, if they didn't detoxify? Looking at his son's ashen face beside him, Douluo's heart ached. Was he to just watch Exener follow in his footsteps, even dying young? Little friend Yu. Douluo stopped pacing, took a deep breath, a note of earnestness entering his tone. This old man also knows rules cannot be broken. But saving a life surpasses building a 7-story pagoda. Moreover, this poison has penetrated deep into the marrow of my son and me. Without a proper remedy, I fear our days are numbered. I wonder, is there any other, more flexible approach? As long as it can save our lives, no matter the price, this old man will not utter a single word of refusal. Watching Douluo's anxious appearance, Yu Jingcheng chuckled inwardly. The timing was just about right. He deliberately fell into a thoughtful silence for a moment, his fingers lightly tapping the tabletop, producing a rhythmic sound. Each tap seemed to strike the hearts of the Douluo father and son. A long while later, Yu Jingcheng finally slowly raised his head, a flash of resolve in his eyes. Senior Douluo is right. Saving lives is paramount. Although my master is strict, he is not by nature rigid or someone who would stand by and watch others die. If he knew of Senior Douluo and Brother Douluo's situation, I believe he would make an exception. Hearing this, hope rekindled in the eyes of Douluo and his son. However, Yu Jingcheng's tone shifted, his expression turning serious. Rules are rules after all. If I make an exception without any proper reason, I cannot justify it to my master. Ultimately, we need a legitimate, proper justification. Justification. Douluo was taken aback, then tentatively asked. Little friend, you mean? Yu Jingcheng smiled slightly, his gaze locking onto Douluo's eyes as he spoke word by word. Since it cannot be transmitted to outsiders, then as long as the two of you are not outsiders, wouldn't that solve the problem? How about this? I invite Senior Douluo and Brother Douluo to join the force I am establishing. That way, we become one family. Transmitting a detoxification secret art to members of one's own sect, even if my master came, he couldn't find any fault with that. As these words fell, the hall instantly fell silent. Join a force. Douluo frowned slightly. He had lived his life as a lone wolf, disliking constraints the most. Otherwise, he would have long since joined the Spirit Hall or one of the two empires. But now, circumstances forced his hand. For his son's life, what was a little freedom? Moreover, if he could connect to a titled Douluo through this kid, joining his force wouldn't exactly be a disgrace. Beside him, Douluo Shin had far fewer reservations, his curiosity piqued more than anything. Looking at this youth several years younger than himself, he couldn't help but ask. Brother Yu? No, sect master. Douluo Shin changed his address quickly, his eyes sparkling with surprise. I never imagined Brother Yu, despite his youth, has already founded a sect and established his own force. Might I ask the name of your esteemed sect? What is its current scale? With Brother Yu and your esteemed master presiding, the sect must be filled with powerful experts, right? Facing Douluo Shin's barrage of questions, the smile on Yu Jingcheng's face grew even brighter. He waved his hand, saying with an utterly candid expression, Brother Douluo misunderstands. Currently, this force has not been formally established yet. The expression on Douluo Shin's face instantly froze, his mouth agape in utter bewilderment. Even Douluo's lips twitched slightly, looking at Yu Jingcheng with a strange expression. Not established yet. What did that mean? An empty promise. Watching the father and son's wonderfully expressive faces, Yu Jingcheng felt not the slightest bit awkward. Instead, he laughed with righteous confidence. Not having it now doesn't mean not having it in the future. My ambitions are vast. In the future, I am destined to establish a force of my own, standing at the pinnacle of the continent. Right now, it's merely about settling the affiliation in advance. Saying this, Yu Jingcheng stood up, radiating a powerful self-assurance. As long as the two of you agree today, you will be the founding elders of my sect in the future. When my master asks about it later, I can justify it by saying the two of you are pillars of talent I recruited for my future sect. That way, the matter of detoxification becomes perfectly logical and justified. What do the two of you think? Yu Jingcheng's future plans definitely involved establishing a force. As for his previous thoughts about returning to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, Yu Jingcheng had also pondered it in his heart. Worried about being exposed, it was better not to return. Rather than risking exposure by joining the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, he might as well join the Spirit Hall. In the Spirit Hall, if your talent was strong, your aptitude exceptional, they would truly nurture you. Develop himself in the early stages, then establish a force once he grew powerful later. That way, even if he later became a god and ascended to the god realm, he would still have a force left behind on the Douluo continent. As for what kind of force to establish, or rather, what would the positioning of the established force be? Yu Jingcheng hadn't formally decided yet. There were still 30 years until the main plot began. Too many things were uncertain. He could discuss it later when the time was ripe. Douluo and Douluo Shin exchanged a glance. Although Douluo loved freedom, compared to the beryl serpent poison problem affecting himself, his son, and his entire family, this was a mere trifle. Moreover, the sect wasn't even established yet. They would be joining now. When the sect was founded in the future, they would be founding elders. No matter how you calculated it, they wouldn't lose. Furthermore, in Douluo Bo's view, Yu Jingcheng's aptitude was the strongest among the younger generation. Breaking through to titled Douluo in the future would be a breeze. Now, while Yu Jingcheng was still young and weak, investing and partnering up directly wasn't that wonderful. Douluo Bo made up his mind internally. All in is a kind of wisdom. Chapter 21. Completely subdued. 100,000-year golden tortoise and the gold of living beings. Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin looked at each other again. This time, the hesitation in their eyes vanished completely, replaced by a desperate determination and magnanimity. Ha ha ha. Good. What a grand ambition, what a magnificent goal to stand at the peak of the continent. Douluo Bo suddenly laughed towards the sky, his laughter carrying a hint of madness and even more relief. He took a sudden step forward, his withered but powerful hand clapping heavily onto Yu Jingcheng's shoulder, his eyes flashing with brilliance. Kid, no, sect master. Since you dare to make such a claim, why wouldn't I, Douluo Bo, dare to take this gamble? It is easy to add flowers to a brocade, but difficult to provide charcoal in the snow. If I joined a large sect that was already established and famous, I would be at most a high-level thug guarding the courtyard. But by joining a sect that hasn't even been established yet, then we father and son are the founding elders and meritorious officials. Although Douluo Bo had a solitary personality, his insight was extremely sharp. What he valued was not just the method to detoxify, but Yu Jingcheng himself, as well as the powerful background behind him that seemed illusory yet somehow real. No matter how he calculated it, this deal was a massive profit. Since the sect master does not look down on me, I shall take this position of elder. It is also my honor to witness the rise of a top-tier power. Beside him, Douluo Shin also hurriedly cupped his fists, his expression respectful. Subordinate Douluo Shin greets the sect master. Seeing the submission of this pair, one old and one young, the corners of Yu Jingcheng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a heartfelt smile. Very good. The initial core team was formed. And right from the start, there was a spirit Douluo and a spirit king. Among them, Douluo Bo was guaranteed to become a titled Douluo in the future. Douluo Shin was uncertain, but with the boost from an immortal herb, breaking through to become a titled Douluo in the future shouldn't be much of a problem. This starting configuration was simply luxurious. Yu Jingcheng calculated silently in his heart. If he were to pull out a marvelous fungus reaching heaven chrysanthemum, or a narcissus jade marrow bone, from his spirit tool right now and give it to Douluo Bo to consume. With the medicinal power of the immortal herb, combined with the assistance of the ice and fire yin-yang well, within 3 days, Douluo Bo would definitely be able to break his bottleneck and become a titled Douluo on the spot. That way, at this point in time, he would have a titled Douluo-level personal bodyguard. In this era where the Clear Sky sect had retreated and Spirit Hall had not yet fully revealed its fangs, he could practically walk sideways. But now is not the time. Yu Jingcheng suppressed the impulse in his heart. One can know a person's face but not their heart. Although Douluo Bo valued loyalty and friendship, he had only just submitted, and his loyalty still needed time to settle. Yu Jingcheng already knew Douluo Bo's temper and personality from the original work. But regardless, things obtained too easily are often not cherished. He had to first convince him with theory to let him see hope. Then, at the critical moment, bestowing the immortal herb would truly win his heart and make him completely devoted. Thinking of this, Yu Jingcheng composed himself and looked at the Douluo father and son, his expression becoming serious. Since you two have entered my sect, you are our own people. Regarding the backlash of the jade phosphorus snake poison, my master once had a complete theoretical system called the soul bone poison storage method. Soul bone poison storage method. Douluo Bo was stunned upon hearing this. The term was quite novel to him. Correct. Yu Jingcheng nodded and spoke eloquently, combining Tang San's theory from the original work with his own understanding, explaining it in an even more profound and mysterious way. Elder Douluo, you are also an expert in using poison, so you should understand one principle. It is better to channel than to block. The poison of your Douluo family's jade phosphorus snake is incredibly overbearing and continuously strengthens as your spirit power increases. Your previous approach was to rely on deep spirit power to suppress the toxin and prevent it from erupting. But this is like building a dam in your body to hold back a flood. The higher the water level, the greater the pressure the dam must withstand. One day, the dam will collapse, and that will be the moment your life and cultivation end. Douluo nodded repeatedly as he listened, and cold sweat even broke out on his forehead. This was exactly his current situation. Then, what does the sect master mean? It's simple. Since you can't suppress it, then find an outlet for it, or rather, find a container. Yu Jingcheng pointed to his own arm and said in a deep voice. The human meridians are fragile and can hardly withstand the corrosion of potent poison for long. But spirit bones are different. Spirit bones are the essence of spirit beasts, incredibly hard, and connected to the spirit master's bloodline. If you can force the toxins in your body into a spirit bone to be stored, not only can you resolve the suffering of the backlash, but you can even release the potent poison from the spirit bone instantly during battle, doubling its power. Boom! Yu Jingcheng's words were like a thunderclap exploding in Douluo's mind. Forcing the toxin into a spirit bone. Using the body as poison, and the bone as a vessel. This kind of imaginative idea was simply unheard of. But thinking about it carefully, it felt incredibly reasonable, even a stroke of genius. Wonderful. Simply wonderful. Douluo's beard was trembling with excitement, and an unprecedented light burst from his eyes. Why didn't I think of that? If there's a spirit bone as a carrier, this deadly poison becomes the sharpest sword. Sect Master is truly a divine being. Your master is an even greater genius of the age. Looking at the uncontrollably excited Douluo, Yu Jingcheng smiled slightly and continued to cast the bait. Of course, this is only the first step. To completely cure it, you also need to cooperate with specific medicine for conditioning, slowly pulling out the toxins that have already invaded your internal organs. This requires a process, and also some rare heaven and earth treasures. But don't worry, Elder Douluo. Since you have joined my power, I will naturally prepare these resources for you. Thank you, Sect Master. Douluo and Douluo Shin bowed together in salute. This time, they were completely and utterly won over. Just based on these few words of guidance, they saw the hope of survival. This young sect master was unfathomable. All right, there's no time to lose. Yu Jingcheng waved his hand and looked out the window. First, find a quiet place, and I will teach you the specific cultivation technique. Once the poison in your bodies is resolved, we have more important things to do. Since he had subdued Douluo, then next would be normal cultivation. Then let Douluo break through to title Douluo, to solidify his core team. After that, Yu Jingcheng would continue to travel and explore the continent. Yu Jingcheng knew that somewhere in the Stardo Great Forest, there was another 100,000-year spirit beast. A 100,000-year golden tortoise. The one from Douluo Dalui that sacrificed itself to Shu Sanshi. Yu Jingcheng's original form before transformation, the Golden Earth Dragon King, had a certain connection with that golden tortoise. That golden tortoise, back when DTN captured the Skydream Ice Silkworm, it had also secretly sucked a bit of energy. But because it discovered a piece of gold of living beings, it greedily swallowed it, only to have its life force consumed by the gold of living beings instead. Now it was in a weakened state. Chapter 2240, 000 Year Bloodthirsty Devil Spider King Right Leg Bone, Douluo kowtows in gratitude. Yu Jingcheng was just waiting to return to the Stardo Great Forest to take down this golden tortoise. It would be best if it could sacrifice itself to him. If not, the Douluo he had recruited would come in handy. Inside the secret chamber of the Douluo residence, dim green light flickered, and the air was thick with a nauseating, cloying scent. Yu Jingcheng sat cross-legged in the seat of honor, fine beads of sweat breaking out on his forehead. In front of him, the father and son, Douluo and Douluo Shin, were bare-chested, guiding the toxins accumulated over many years according to the soul bone poison storage method taught by Yu Jingcheng. Just as Yu Jingcheng expected, Douluo was, after all, a peak rank 89 spirit Douluo, only one step away from becoming a titled Douluo. His spirit power was incredibly profound, and his control over toxins was consummate. Under Yu Jingcheng's guidance, he quickly grasped the knack, forcing the Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor poison raging in his meridians bit by bit into his existing spirit bone. As the toxins were transferred, Douluo's originally sallow and dark complexion gradually regained its color, even his turbid green eyes cleared up a bit, and his aura became increasingly steady. However, on the other side, Douluo Shin's situation was not optimistic. PFF'd. Douluo Shin suddenly spat out a mouthful of black blood, his whole body trembling violently, his face as pale as paper. Exener. Douluo, who was finishing his cultivation, turned pale with fright and quickly reached out to support his staggering son, his eyes filled with anxiety. Sect Master, what is going on? Douluo looked at Yu Jingcheng in a panic, his voice trembling. Why do I feel completely refreshed, yet Exener is in even more pain? Yu Jingcheng slowly withdrew his spirit power, looked at the suffering Douluo Shin, frowned slightly, and said in a low voice, Elder Douluo, your concern has clouded your judgment. As a spirit Douluo who possesses a 10,000-year Medusa skull, the toxins in your body have a place to go, so it naturally follows through. But your son is only a rank 58 spirit king, his spirit power is already insufficient to suppress the potent poison in his body. The most critical point is, Yu Jingcheng's sharp gaze swept over Douluo Shin's entire body. He doesn't have a single spirit bone on him. Without a container, the toxins have nowhere to go after being forced out of the meridians, they can only run rampant within his body, making the backlash naturally more fierce. Hearing this, Douluo felt as if he had been struck by lightning, freezing in place. It was true. The core of the soul bone poison storage method was the spirit bone. Without a spirit bone, this method was a death warrant. What should we do? Douluo looked at his dying son in his arms, his eyes filled with despair. How precious were spirit bones? Even Douluo, after many years in the spirit master's world, had only obtained a single Medusa skull. Where was he supposed to find a suitable spirit bone for his son now? Go hunt a spirit beast. It was too late. Buy one at an auction. Such a priceless treasure was not something one could simply buy whenever they wanted. Could it be that the heavens want to destroy my Douluo family? Grief welled up in Douluo, and tears filled his eyes. Just as the atmosphere in the secret chamber reached the peak of oppression and Douluo was on the verge of despair. Elder Douluo, calm yourself. Yu Jingcheng's calm voice rang out, carrying a strange power that soothed the heart. With a flick of his wrist, a light flashed. A leg bone, entirely purple-black and emitting a dense, evil aura and the scent of blood, appeared out of thin air in his hand. As soon as this leg bone appeared, the temperature in the entire secret chamber seemed to drop several degrees. The halo flowing over, it faintly formed a hideous human-faced spider face, making one's hair stand on end. This is. Douluo's pupils constricted suddenly, and he stared intently at the leg bone, his breathing instantly becoming heavy. As a master of poisons, he could tell at a glance that this spirit bone was extraordinary. A 40,000-year bloodthirsty devil spider king right leg bone. Yu Jingcheng's tone was flat, as if he hadn't produced a priceless treasure but a common stone. The bloodthirsty demon spider is an overlord among venomous spider spirit beasts, its toxicity is no less intense than your jade phosphor serpent. And this spirit bone came from a spider king with 40,000 years of cultivation, so its quality is extremely high. Using it as a container for your son to store toxins is not only more than sufficient, but it could even take his poison techniques to the next level. Then, Yu Jingcheng tossed it casually. The 40,000-year spirit bone, which was enough to cause a bloodbath in the entire spirit master's world, landed lightly on the ground in front of Douluo. It made a crisp, clink, sound. This crisp sound was like a heavy hammer, slamming hard into the hearts of Douluo and Douluo Shin. 40,000 years. Douluo was completely stunned. He tremblingly reached out his hand, wanting to touch the spirit bone, but then pulled it back as if afraid of desecrating the treasure. This was a 40,000-year spirit bone. Even in the upper three sects, this would be an existence worthy of being a sect-protecting treasure. This young sect master actually just took it out so casually. And it was to save his son. Sect master, this is too precious. Even the suffering Douluo Shin was snapped back to reality by this massive shock. He struggled to decline, and although there was desire in his eyes, there was even more trepidation. Your subordinate has not yet performed any service, how could I dare to accept such a great favor? This is a 40,000-year spirit bone, if it were auctioned, it could buy half of Heaven Do City. Your subordinate is unworthy, I absolutely cannot accept this. Douluo also took a deep breath, suppressing the greed in his heart, and said in a low voice, "Sect Master, Exener is right. This gift is too heavy. We, father and son, cannot afford to accept it." Seeing the father and son's terrified and uneasy expressions, Yu Jingcheng nodded inwardly. To be able to maintain rationality in the face of such a treasure, the character of the Douluo family was indeed trustworthy. However, once something is given away, how can it be taken back? Cannot afford to accept it. Yu Jingcheng sneered, standing with his hands behind his back, his body emitting an unquestionable dominance. "Since you have entered my sect, you are my people. The lives of my people are worth more than a spirit bone. A mere 40,000-year spirit bone. If it can trade for a future titled Douluo, I find this deal quite worthwhile." Yu Jingcheng looked at Du Guxin with burning eyes. "Du Guxin, if you don't accept it, do you want your father to outlive his son? Or do you think your life isn't worth this one bone?" These words were spoken with a powerful resonance, deafening and awakening. Du Guxin's whole body shook, and his eyes instantly turned red. He looked at his worried old father beside him, then at the extraordinary young sect master before him. The defenses in his heart finally collapsed completely. The sect master's great kindness. Du Guxin will never forget it as long as I live. Du Guxin suddenly knelt on the ground and heavily kowtowed 3 times to Yu Jingcheng. Chapter 23. Douluo breaks through to level 90. Sunset Forest. The high-level spirit beasts have all been wiped out. The sound of a forehead striking the stone floor echoed within the secret chamber. From this day forth, this life of Du Guxin belongs to the sect master. I would go through fire and water without hesitation. Beside him, Douluo was also moved to tears, similarly kneeling on one knee, his voice choked yet resolute. "This old man will forever remember the sect master's grace of rebirth in my heart. In the future, should the sect master have any orders, if this old man so much as frowns, I would not be human." Watching the father and son duo who had now completely pledged their allegiance, a satisfied curve lifted the corner of Yu Jingcheng's mouth. A single 40,000-year spirit bone. In exchange for the unwavering loyalty of 2 powerful experts. Worth it. So worth it. Enough. No more idle talk. Yu Jingcheng waved his hand, signaling for the 2 to rise. Quickly absorb the spirit bone and force the poison into it. Once your injuries have healed, this lord has more important tasks for you. Yes. Douluo and his son responded in unison, their voices loud and clear, filled with unprecedented fighting spirit and hope. Although forcing the toxins into the spirit bone can indeed resolve the immediate crisis and preserve your lives. Watching the joyous expressions on the father and son's faces, Yu Jingcheng chose that moment to pour a bucket of cold water, his tone still as calm as ever. This is ultimately a method that treats the symptoms, not the root cause. Spirit bones also have capacity limits. If your cultivation advances further in the future and the toxins overflow again, what then? Will you simply find another spirit bone? Upon hearing this, Douluo's heart, which had just settled, tightened once more. He quickly asked respectfully, "Then, according to the sect master's esteemed opinion, what should we do?" Yu Jingcheng did not keep them in suspense. With a flip of his palm, several jade boxes prepared in advance materialized out of thin air, neatly arranged on the table. When the lids were opened, a medicinal fragrance immediately wafted out. Just a single whiff cleared the mind and calmed the restless spirit power within their bodies. Although not immortal herbs, these were all premium medicinal ingredients Yu Jingcheng had meticulously gathered from around the ice and fire yin-yang well. Having grown in that uniquely advantageous environment, these herbs were imbued with the spiritual chi of the hot and cold springs, possessing remarkable efficacy in regulating the body and neutralizing toxicity. This is a medicinal formula specially prepared by this lord for you, father and son. Yu Jingcheng pointed at the jade boxes and said solemnly, "The spirit bone is the container, but these herbs are for strengthening your foundation, nurturing your vitality, and toughening your meridians. Take them daily as prescribed. Combined with the chi circulation method this lord will teach you, to regulate your bodies. Only when your physical bodies are strong enough and your meridians are resilient enough can you truly master that overbearing jade phosphor serpent emperor poison, turning it to your own use instead of being devoured by it. Yes, your subordinate obeys." As if receiving a priceless treasure, Douluo and his son carefully stored the jade boxes, their eyes filled with gratitude. Over the following month, the Douluo residence closed its doors to all visitors. Apart from eating and sleeping, the father and son spent all their time taking the medicinal herbs and cultivating that unique poison guiding method. With the assistance of the premium herbs from the ice and fire yin-yang well, coupled with Yu Jingcheng's occasional personal guidance, the bone-deep affliction that had plagued the Douluo family for generations finally, at this moment, transformed into the sharpest sword in their hands. 1 month later, from the backyard of the Douluo residence, an overwhelmingly powerful aura shot into the sky. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shaking roar, the massive phantom of a jade-green serpent coiled above the mansion. A terrifying pressure instantly swept through the entire courtyard. The originally cold, foul-smelling poisonous gas now became pure and intense, faintly exuding a regal majesty. The door to the secret chamber burst open with a crash. A figure, aged yet erect, strode out with large steps. It was Douluo Bo. At this moment, his hair remained green, but his previously sickly pallor had turned rosy and healthy. His eyes shone with a brilliant light, and a commanding presence, as if overlooking the entire world, naturally emanated from his gaze. The gloom that had plagued him for decades was swept away completely. Level 90. I've finally reached level 90. Douluo Bo looked at his own hands, feeling the spirit power surging through his body like a great river, trembling with excitement. He had been stuck at the peak of the 89th level, a spirit Douluo, for far too long. Due to the restraints of the potent poison within him, not only could he not advance an inch, but he also had to divert most of his spirit power to suppress the toxins, greatly diminishing his strength. Now, with the poison issue resolved, the accumulated foundation erupted. That seemingly indestructible bottleneck was pierced through as easily as a windowpane. Once he obtained his 9th spirit ring, he, Douluo Bo, would be a true titled Douluo. Congratulations, father. Hail to father. At that moment, the door to another secret chamber was also pushed open. Douluo Shin walked out, his face beaming with joy. Compared to his previously sickly state, the current Douluo Shin was like a completely different person. His posture was straight, his complexion ruddy. Especially around his right leg, a faint, heart-palpitating red glow emanated. That was the sign of the complete fusion of the 40,000-year bloodthirsty devil spider king's right leg bone. This premium spirit bone not only perfectly contained the excess toxins within his body but also, relying on its vast energy, forcefully pushed his spirit power to a new level. Father, I've also had a breakthrough. Douluo Shin excitedly waved his fist, feeling the abundant power within. After absorbing that spirit bone, my spirit power jumped 2 levels directly. I'm now a level 60 quasi-spirit emperor. From level 58 to 60, it seemed like only 2 levels. But for someone like Douluo Shin, who had been tormented to the brink of death by the poison, this was nothing short of a miracle. Good, good, good. Looking at his radiant son, Douluo Bo repeated, good, 3 times in a row, tears streaming down his aged face. The curse plaguing the family was lifted, his son was saved, and he himself had broken through. All of this was bestowed by a single person. Father and son exchanged a glance and, with perfect tacit agreement, turned simultaneously towards the young figure sitting by the stone table in the courtyard, sipping tea. They bowed down respectfully. This time, there was not the slightest hesitation, only awe and submission from the depths of their souls. Your subordinates, Douluo Bo, Douluo Shin, pay respects and thank the sect master for the grace of rebirth. Yu Jingcheng set down his teacup. Looking at the 2 experts, one old and one young, before him, a satisfied curve lifted the corner of his mouth. One quasi-titled Douluo, one quasi-spirit emperor possessing a 40,000-year spirit bone. This was the first true foundation of his power in this world. Rise. Yu Jingcheng spoke lightly, his gaze turning towards the distance, a glint of ambition flashing in his eyes. Since you've both broken through your bottlenecks, there's no need to wait any longer. Set off. Let's hunt for spirit rings. 1 month's time. Yu Jingcheng's spirit power had also increased from level 55 to 56. It was logical, very natural. Yu Jingcheng felt, if there were no other opportunities, even with normal cultivation, by early next year at the latest, he could also reach level 60. By then, he could go find the golden tortoise. Sect master, where should we go? Douluo Bo asked curiously. The Sunset Forest. The Sunset Forest was close, and Douluo remembered there were quite a few poison attribute spirit beasts suitable for them, father and son. Let's go to the Stardo Great Forest, Yu Jingcheng said after a moment of contemplation. Just kidding. The high-level spirit beasts in the Sunset Forest had all been wiped out by him. If they wanted to find a decent spirit ring for Douluo, they could only go to the Stardo Great Forest. Chapter 24. 100,000-Year Spirit Bone Chimera. Self-Spirit Bone Fusion Technique. Once they were out of Heaven Do City, the three of them no longer concealed their forms, transforming into three streaks of flowing light that shot straight towards the direction of the Stardo Great Forest. At first, to accommodate Yu Jingcheng, who was only at the 56th rank Spirit King cultivation level, Douluo deliberately kept his speed low. After all, he and Dugu Shin were a quasi-titled Douluo and a quasi-Spirit Emperor bolstered by a 40,000-year Spirit Bone, respectively. If they traveled at full speed, even an ordinary Spirit King pushing themselves to the limit would find it difficult to keep up. Sect Master, the journey to the Stardo Great Forest is long. If you find it too strenuous, I can fly with you for a while. After flying several dozen miles, Douluo glanced back. Seeing that Yu Jingcheng, though barely keeping up, was clearly struggling, he kindly offered. In his view, while Yu Jingcheng's spirit was miraculous and his theoretical knowledge vast, his spirit power rank was ultimately what it was. However, upon hearing this, Yu Jingcheng merely smiled faintly and shook his head. There's no need, old poison. Just proceed at full speed. If I can't even keep up with this, how could I lead you to hunt 10,000-year spirit beasts? Before his words fully faded, Yu Jingcheng focused his mind. Boom! An intensely brilliant golden light suddenly erupted from behind Yu Jingcheng, instantly illuminating half the sky. Douluo and Dugu Shin only saw a flash of golden light and instinctively narrowed their eyes. As the radiance subsided slightly, father and son focused their gaze and immediately gasped, their eyes nearly popping out of their sockets. They saw that, from behind Yu Jingcheng, a pair of enormous golden wings had somehow extended. These wings were incredibly broad, with a wingspan of 4 to 5 meters, their entire surface covered in fine dragon scales that seemed cast from solid gold. Each scale shimmered with a soul-stirring, cold gleam, their edges sharp as blades, as if capable of slicing through space itself. With a gentle flap of the wings, the surrounding air seemed to tear, emitting a low, rumbling sonic boom. Even more terrifying was the aura they emitted. It was an absolute suppression originating from the very depths of one's bloodline. The jade phosphor serpent spirit within Douluo's body trembled uncontrollably the moment it sensed the aura emanating from these golden wings. It was as if it had encountered a natural predator, instinctively wanting to submit. What is this? Douluo's voice trembled as he pointed at the golden wings, his face filled with utter disbelief. A flight spirit ability. No, that's not it. This spirit power fluctuation. This is an external spirit bone. And it's dragon wings. As a powerhouse at the titled Douluo level, Douluo's discernment was naturally sharp. He could tell at a glance that this was no ordinary flight spirit ability, but the legendary external spirit bone, said to be even rarer and more precious than 100,000-year spirit bone. In the Spirit Master's world, spirit masters with flight abilities were already scarce. Even Douluo himself, before absorbing his 9th spirit ring and officially becoming a titled Douluo, could only rely on spirit power for brief periods of flight. But Douluo generally wouldn't do so unless necessary. The spirit power consumption was too great. And external spirit bones were treasures among treasures, 1 in 10,000. If the two were combined, what kind of heaven-defying opportunity would that be? Not to mention, this was a dragon-type external spirit bone. Gazing at the golden light swirling around the majestic and domineering dragon wings, Douluo felt his breath quicken and his heart pound wildly. This was simply a priceless treasure. Sect Master, Douluo swallowed hard, feeling that Yu Jingcheng was simply too terrifying. First, casually producing a divine antidote formula, then top-grade medicinal herbs, and now even possessing a legendary external spirit bone like this. This depth of resources was utterly unfathomable. Yu Jingcheng chuckled inwardly. After all, the bright dragon wings were equivalent to a chimera of a torso bone and an external spirit bone. They even came with 4 spirit abilities. It was akin to splitting the 100,000-year bright dragon wings, the 100,000-year golden earth dragon king torso bone, and 100,000-year golden earth dragon king torso bone. Earth emperor dragon armor katakana middle dot unmovable as mountains, earth dragon's breath katakana middle dot golden judgment. 100,000-year external spirit bone bright dragon wings. Light dragon pierces the void katakana middle dot instant shadow thousand flashes, myriad dragon light feathers katakana middle dot judgment rain. Spirit ability 1. Open black lens bracket earth emperor dragon armor katakana middle dot unmovable as mountains close black lens bracket. Active defensive spirit ability. Using the origin dragon power of the golden earth dragon king to resonate with the earth's dragon veins, it condenses a heavy, mountain-like golden dragon scale armor around the torso. 90% immunity to physical attacks, 70% reduction in energy-based attacks. When standing on the ground, the stronger the attack received, the higher the defense, capable of forcibly withstanding a full power strike from a titled Douluo. Additional effect. When attacked, it rebounds with a shockwave dragon force, damaging the opponent's meridians and spirit. Spirit ability 2. Open black lens bracket earth dragon's breath katakana middle dot golden judgment close black lens bracket. Torso charging explosive spirit ability. Draws earth dragon chi into the chest cavity and expels a golden, magma-like judgment dragon breath forward. Massive range. Attached earth burn plus dragon awe intimidation double effects. Upon hit, forms golden dragon pattern shackles, temporarily preventing the opponent's spirit from functioning. Doubly effective against evil spirit masters and dark attribute spirits. Spirit ability 1. Open black lens bracket light dragon pierces the void katakana middle dot instant shadow thousand flashes close black lens bracket. Displacement plus speed spirit ability. The bright dragon wings unfurl, transforming into pure streams of light, ignoring most spatial blockade. Short distance instantaneous teleportation, no cooldown limit, limited only by spirit power consumption. Flight speed reaches titled Douluo level, capable of hovering, sudden stops, and sharp turns in midair. Movement trajectory leaves trails of bright dragon flame that ignite upon contact. Spirit ability 2. Open black lens bracket myriad dragon light feathers katakana middle dot judgment rain close black lens bracket. Area of effect group attack spirit ability. The bright dragon wings spread, unleashing countless golden dragon-shaped light feathers like a torrential downpour. Individual feathers can pierce defenses, collectively they can blanket a battlefield. Each light feather leaves a bright imprint upon hitting, after 3 imprint stack, triggers a bright explosion. Can condense into twin wings unite katakana middle dot light dragon slash, transforming into a kilometer-long bright dragon blade capable of splitting mountains and severing ridges with a single strike. These 4 moves possessed immense power. Yu Jingcheng had even been pondering fusing several of these moves together. After all, my torso bone and external spirit bone are one entity. So, referencing self-spirit fusion techniques, creating a self-spirit bone fusion technique is quite reasonable, right? Yu Jingcheng had been researching this matter during this period. Now he had achieved some success. Yu Jingcheng planned that after returning from the Stardo Great Forest this time, he would have Douluo serve as a practice dummy to test it in real combat. With a single flap of his wings, Yu Jingcheng's figure instantly soared higher, his speed skyrocketing. In the blink of an eye, he caught up to Douluo, even showing signs of surpassing him. Yu Jingcheng stood with his hands behind his back in midair, his robes fluttering gracefully, like a deity descending. What? Surprised. Yu Jingcheng's tone was placid, as if discussing a trivial matter. This was also bestowed upon me by my teacher. Teacher. Douluo was taken aback, then suddenly understood. Of course, who else but the reclusive titled Douluo teacher Yu Jingcheng spoke of could have such grand handwriting. My teacher was obsessed with spirit research his entire life, had no children, and his later years were lonely. A just right hint of nostalgia and gratitude flashed in Yu Jingcheng's eyes as he spoke slowly. After taking me as his disciple, he treated me as his own, nurturing me as his sole successor. Chapter 25. Stardo Great Forest, Encounter with the Dragon and Serpent Duo in a Pursuit. This external spirit bone was obtained by my teacher from an ancient ruin in his early years. He has treasured it ever since, never willing to use it. It wasn't until my spirit awakened and was confirmed as the holy dragon of light that my teacher bestowed it upon me without hesitation, helping me overcome my weaknesses and soar through the 9 heavens. At this point, Yu Jingcheng looked at Du Gubo with a knowing, half-smile. Old poison, you should understand. Everything I possess is merely the tip of the iceberg of my teacher's foundation. Follow me, and as long as you are utterly loyal, in the future, whether it's spirit bones or anything else, this one can afford to give it. Hearing these words, Du Gubo trembled all over. The last trace of doubt in his heart completely vanished. Replacing it was an even more fanatical reverence. That mysterious teacher was instantly elevated to an unimaginable height in Du Gubo's mind. Perhaps a reclusive super Douluo. Or even a 99th rank limit Douluo. Or perhaps a demigod. Du Gubo was getting carried away with his own fantasies. Regardless, clinging tightly to the thigh of this young lord before him was undoubtedly the most correct decision Du Gubo had ever made in his life. Rest assured, Sect Master. Du Gubo took a deep breath, slightly bowed in midair, his tone reaching the peak of respect. This old man's life has long been pledged to the Sect Master. Even if the road ahead is paved with mountains of blades and seas of fire, should the Sect Master give the order, this old man would not even frown. Good. Yu Jingcheng laughed heartily, his golden wings giving a powerful flap, transforming his entire body into a golden meteor that instantly streaked across the sky. Then keep up. Target, the Stardo Great Forest. The Stardo Great Forest, with its ancient trees reaching for the sky, blocked out the clouds and sun. 3 streaks of light shot past like fleeting glimpses, instantly piercing through the outer region and heading straight for the border between the mixed zone and the core zone. This was the paradise of 10,000-year spirit beasts and the forbidden land for the vast majority of spirit masters. Sect Master, let's stop around here. Du Gubo halted, hovering in midair, his gaze sweeping over the jungle below like lightning. Exener is now a level 60 quasi-spirit emperor. After your medicinal conditioning, his body should have no problem absorbing a spirit ring from a spirit beast around 20,000 years old. This area is frequented by 10,000-year spirit beasts. If we go further in and encounter a 100,000-year spirit beast, even this old man would have to exert considerable effort. Yu Jingcheng nodded, the glow from the bright dragon wings on his back gradually receding, but they remained spread, ready to respond to any sudden situation. 20,000 years is indeed a safe choice. Yu Jingcheng said calmly. However, since we are hunting, we must find the one most suitable for the spirit's characteristics. The Jade Phosphor Serpent specializes in poison. It's best to find a top-tier spirit beast with poison or yin-cold attributes. Just as the group was about to split up to search for prey. Boom! Asterisk. A deafening roar suddenly erupted from the depths of the dense forest in the distance. Immediately after, vast swaths of towering ancient trees collapsed like wheat being harvested, stirring up clouds of dust. An extremely violent wave of spirit power, accompanied by a shrill, agonized roar, surged towards them like a tsunami. Such a powerful spirit power fluctuation. Du Gubo's expression changed, his figure instantly shielding Du Gushin. A trace of gravity flashed in his jade-green eyes. This aura, it's from a spirit beast of at least 60,000 years, and it's gone berserk. Moreover, there seems to be a human spirit master's aura mixed in as well. Yu Jingcheng narrowed his eyes. Relying on the keen perception of his mental force, he detected 2 not-so-weak spirit powers rapidly approaching their location. Fleeing in panic, the corner of Yu Jingcheng's mouth curled into an amused arc. Let's go take a look. With that, instead of retreating, he advanced, flapping his wings and flying first towards the source of the commotion. Seeing this, Du Gubo could only grab Du Gushin and follow closely behind. Before long, 2 utterly disheveled figures came into the trio's view. A man and a woman, both middle-aged. The man was tall and sturdy, holding a dragon-headed cane. 6 spirit rings pulsated up and down around him. But his current state was extremely dire. His clothes were in tatters, blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, and he bore multiple injuries, clearly suffering from significant internal wounds. Beside him, the upright middle-aged woman was only a spirit ancestor. Her situation was even worse. She was practically being half-dragged along by the old man in their frantic run, and her snake-headed cane showed a fine crack. Both wore expressions of terror, glancing back over their shoulders from time to time. That's. Du Gubo's pupils contracted sharply, clearly recognizing the identities of the 2. The words escaped his lips. Meng Shu, Chao Tianxiang, The Peerless Dragon and Serpent Couple. Hearing this title, Douluo Shin, who had been following behind, also exclaimed in surprise. Although this was 30 years before the main story began, Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang, relying on their spirit fusion skill, had still made a name for themselves as the Peerless Dragon and Serpent in the regions around Heaven Do City. Naturally, Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin were not unfamiliar with them. Yu Jingcheng looked at Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang, his eyes slightly narrowed. Should he recruit them, even if he waited 30 years, their combat power would only be comparable to a titled Douluo's single strike when using their spirit fusion skill. But it was merely that one strike under burst conditions. There was no absolute necessity to deliberately recruit them. However, if the difficulty of recruitment wasn't high, Yu Jingcheng wouldn't mind taking them in as a matter of convenience. Currently, Yu Jingcheng's forces consisted only of the Douluo family, and the Douluo family was sparse in numbers, with only Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin. The spirit masters within the Douluo residence were also few in number. Yu Jingcheng was just worrying about having no capable subordinates. Relying solely on Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin to hold the fort was still too thin. This Peerless Dragon and Serpent couple, although their strength was inferior to Douluo Bo's, still had some connections and a family influence within the Spirit Master's world. In Yu Jingcheng's memory, 30 years later, Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang would establish their own academy. Though at this time, that academy might not yet exist. Of course, what Yu Jingcheng valued most about them was their fierce protectiveness of their own and their deep sense of loyalty and righteousness. Just like Douluo Bo, if he could save them in this critical moment, he could not only gain two powerful fighters but potentially bind the entire Meng family to his own war chariot. When luck comes, you can't even block it. Yu Jingcheng's thoughts raced, and he instantly reached a decision. At this moment, Meng Shu, who was fleeing for his life, also sensed someone blocking the path ahead. Meng Shu's heart sank, thinking they might be accomplices of the spirit beast or villains taking advantage of the situation. He immediately roared, "Get out of the way. Don't block the path. If you don't want to die, scram. Behind us is." However, when he clearly saw the three figures suspended in the air ahead, his voice cut off abruptly. The leading young man had wings on his back, radiant with golden light, like a heavenly god descending. He exuded a sacred aura that made even Meng Shu's spirit tremble with fear. And behind the youth, that old man with green hair and a sinister gaze. Douluo Bo. Meng Shu's heart shook violently, a wave of despair instantly flooding his eyes. Douluo Bo blocking the path ahead, a terrifying spirit beast in pursuit behind. Was heaven truly determined to annihilate him and his wife today? Save us. Just as Meng Shu despaired, the serpent grandmother Chao Tianxiang beside him couldn't care less. As if grasping the last straw, she cried out shrilly, "Senior Douluo, for the sake of us all being spirit masters, we beg you to lend a hand. As long as you save us, our Meng family is willing to pay any price." A 60,000-year spirit beast. Although Douluo Bo's combat power was slightly lacking, he was, after all, a spirit Douluo. Saving them shouldn't be a problem. Douluo Bo frowned slightly, instinctively looking towards Yu Jingcheng. In the past, given his temperament, he wouldn't have glanced at such trivial matters, he might even have added to their troubles. But now, he was Yu Jingcheng's subordinate. Whether to save them or not depended entirely on this young lord's word. Yu Jingcheng hovered in midair, looking down at the disheveled couple. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly, revealing a gentle yet supremely confident smile. "You two, calm yourselves. Since we've met, it is fate. This trivial matter, this one will handle it." Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin exchanged a glance. Their eyes held a hint of amusement. If they could conveniently recruit these two, it wouldn't be bad at all. Chapter 26. A 60,000-year golden earth dragon. My former subordinate, Iron Head. Roar. An ear-splitting dragon's roar, mixed with billowing dust, swept out from the depths of the dense forest. Immediately after, a massive beast, its body covered in heavy, earthy yellow scales, shattered countless ancient trees and appeared within everyone's line of sight. With every step it took, the earth trembled in response. Its pair of crimson beastly pupils burned with violent fury, fixed unwaveringly on the fleeing figures of Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang ahead. This is. Douluo Bo's pupils contracted sharply as he sucked in a cold breath. A golden earth dragon, and judging by its size and imposing aura, its cultivation must be at least 60,000 years or more. A spirit beast of this level possessed defenses that could be called perverse, and its strength was absolutely terrifying. Even he, a spirit Douluo, might not gain the upper hand if he were to face it head-on. Let alone while also having to protect the two burdens behind him. Young lord, this beast is thick-skinned and tough. It won't be easy to deal with. Douluo frowned deeply and reminded in a low voice. If we fight it head-on, we might attract even more powerful spirit beasts. How about we? However, before he could finish, he saw an extremely peculiar expression appear on Yu Jingcheng's face. Was that stupefaction, delight, and even a trace of not knowing whether to laugh or cry? This world is truly a small place. Yu Jingcheng looked at the enraged Golden Earth Dragon King, couldn't help but shake his head, and a helpless smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. What wild spirit beast was this? This was clearly his old subordinate from before his transformation, a fierce general among the Golden Earth Dragon clan, Ironhead. Back when he reigned supreme in the Stardow Great Forest, this guy was one of his most loyal followers. Although not the brightest, he was fiercely loyal and exceptionally thick-skinned, making him perfect for charging into battle. He never expected that not long after he left, this guy had ventured to the outskirts and was now chasing Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang all over the forest. It seems these two overestimated themselves and provoked him. Yu Jingcheng thought to himself. Although the Golden Earth Dragon clan had a fierce temper, they generally wouldn't easily leave their territory. Unless they were thoroughly enraged, or something attracted them. Looking at the utterly disheveled dragon-snake couple, Yu Jingcheng instantly had a guess. Most likely, these two had designs on the Golden Earth Dragon, tried to steal but failed miserably, and ended up bringing trouble upon themselves. Young lord, you. Seeing Yu Jingcheng not retreat but instead flap his bright dragon wings and actively move forward, Douluo was instantly horrified. Danger. That's a 60,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King. Even a titled Douluo wouldn't dare to be so presumptuous. However, Yu Jingcheng seemed not to hear him. His figure shot forward like lightning, arriving instantly before the Golden Earth Dragon King. Roar. Seeing someone dare block its path, the Golden Earth Dragon King flew into a rage. It opened its bloody maw wide and let out a heaven-shaking roar. A terrifying sonic wave mixed with a foul, bloody wind whipped Yu Jingcheng's clothes wildly. It raised its massive front claw, carrying the momentum to destroy heaven and earth, and fiercely swatted down towards Yu Jingcheng. If this claw landed solidly, even a spirit saint would be smashed into pulp. It's over. Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang below, seeing this scene, felt their hearts turn to ice. They had thought they'd encountered a savior, but never imagined this young man would be so reckless as to dare confront a 60,000-year spirit beast head-on. Now, not only wouldn't they be saved, but another life would be lost. Douluo was so anxious his eyes nearly bulged out of their sockets. His spirit power surged throughout his body as he prepared to rush up and save him. However, just as the enormous dragon claw was about to descend, Yu Jingcheng remained unhurried and slowly raised his right hand. A strange fluctuation emanated from his body. It wasn't spirit power, but a pressure originating from the depths of his bloodline. An absolute dominance belonging to a superior being. Ironhead, have you had enough fun? Yu Jingcheng's voice wasn't loud, yet it clearly reached the Golden Earth Dragon King's ears. The originally ferocious Golden Earth Dragon King, upon hearing this voice, stiffened violently. The descending giant claw halted abruptly midair, less than half a foot from Yu Jingcheng's head. In its crimson beastly pupils, the previous madness and killing intent instantly faded, replaced by an expression of disbelief, confusion, and fear. It stared fixedly at the tiny human before it. Although the appearance had changed, and the aura had changed, that sense of familiarity engraved deep within its soul, that bloodline pressure that made it want to submit uncontrollably. It absolutely couldn't be wrong. Roar. The Golden Earth Dragon King let out a low whimper, as if testing or confirming. It slowly retracted its giant claw, and its massive body actually began to tremble slightly. It was a tremor of excitement. What? Don't you even recognize me? Yu Jingcheng chuckled lightly, releasing the aura of the Holy Dragon of Light from his body without reservation. Although he was now in a human body, the dragon chi originating from his soul couldn't be faked. Especially for sub-dragon spirit beasts like the Golden Earth Dragon, it held a natural suppressive power. Roar. Feeling that familiar and powerful aura, the Golden Earth Dragon finally confirmed the identity of the person before it. It excitedly raised its head and roared to the heavens, then performed an act that left everyone utterly dumbfounded. Its enormous body crashed down to the ground, its massive head deeply buried in the earth. Facing the direction of Yu Jingcheng, performing a reverent, full-body prostration. As if paying homage to its own sovereign. How is this possible? Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang below were completely dumbstruck. Their mouths hung open wide enough to fit an egg, their eyes nearly popping out of their sockets. That was a 60,000-year Golden Earth Dragon. A top-tier spirit beast that even a titled Douluo would treat with caution. And it was actually kneeling to a young man. This completely overturned their worldview. Du Gubo was also utterly bewildered, his entire body frozen midair. Although he knew his young lord was mysterious and profound, with a deep background. He never imagined it could be this absurd. He could even subdue spirit beasts. And a proud, untamable sub-dragon spirit beast like this at that. Was this even human? Could it be, the young lord is truly the legendary reincarnation of the dragon god? An absurd thought involuntarily surfaced in Du Gubo's mind. Apart from this explanation, he couldn't think of any other reason that would make a 60,000-year spirit beast submit so completely. Looking at the trembling, iron head, prostrate on the ground, Yu Jingcheng nodded in satisfaction. Yu Jingcheng slowly descended onto the Golden Earth Dragon King's head and gently patted its hard scales. Chapter 27. Killed a Golden Earth Dragon Cub. Yu Jingcheng's fury. Iron head, tear them apart. Alright, get up. Since we've met, there's no need to rush off. Perfect timing. I'm in need of a gatekeeper here. From now on, you'll follow me. Roar. The Golden Earth Dragon King let out an excited low roar, its massive tail wagging joyfully behind it like a big dog seeing its master. Although it couldn't understand human language, through soul-level communication, it comprehended its mission. That was to protect the king before it. After finishing all this, Yu Jingcheng finally turned around to look at Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang below, who had long been petrified. The corner of his mouth lifted into a meaningful smile. You two, can we have a proper chat now? Hearing Yu Jingcheng's words, Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang exchanged a glance, their previously tense nerves finally relaxing. In their view, since this mysterious young man could suppress this terrifying Golden Earth Dragon King through bloodline, the crisis was naturally resolved. After all, they were all human spirit masters, naturally on the same side in this law of the jungle forest. Meng Shu straightened his disheveled robes. Though he still bore a few injuries, the arrogance of the Dragon Lord had returned to his face. Meng Shu cupped his hands towards Yu Jingcheng, his tone carrying a touch of relief after surviving a disaster. And a hint of admiration for Yu Jingcheng's methods. Young friend, your methods are truly divine. This old man is impressed. Since this beast has been subdued by you, we need not flee any longer. Meng Shu glanced at the dog-like obedient, iron head, a flash of wariness in his eyes that quickly turned into a relaxed smile. It is truly shameful. My wife and I have roamed the Spirit Master's world for many years, yet today we almost stumbled at the hands of a mere beast. Yu Jingcheng stood atop the massive dragon head, looking down at the two with a placid expression that revealed neither joy nor anger. The Golden Earth Dragon clan typically only operates within the core of their territory, rarely attacking humans proactively. Yu Jingcheng gently stroked the rough scales underfoot on Iron Head, asking nonchalantly. I wonder, seniors, what heinous act did you commit to provoke this 60,000-year-old Earth Dragon into leaving its territory to pursue you here? Hearing the phrase, heinous act, Meng Shu frowned slightly, seemingly displeased with the wording. But due to the power Yu Jingcheng had just displayed, he did not flare up. Yu Jingcheng laughed heartily, waved his hand, and said with an air of indifference. Young friend, you exaggerate. It was merely a case of being entrusted by someone and fulfilling their request. Some days ago, a noble from Heaven-Do City offered a high price to purchase a live Golden Earth Dragon cub around 400 years old, claiming it was for his descendant to hunt for their first spirit ring. At this point, Meng Shu sighed, as if lamenting the failure of this business deal. Golden Earth Dragons are extremely rare. My wife and I searched for a long time, and finally managed to sneak into this beast's nest, finding a lone cub. We originally planned to take it away unnoticed. Who knew the moment we acted, this big fellow discovered us. Hearing this, Yu Jingcheng's fingers, which were stroking the dragon scales, paused slightly. A trace of imperceptible coldness quietly surfaced in his originally placid eyes. Capturing a cub. Although common in the spirit master's world, for him, the king of spirit beasts, it was the most detestable behavior. Especially since this involved his own clan. What about that cub? Yu Jingcheng's voice remained calm, but those familiar with him could detect the suppressed volcano beneath that calm. Since you were pursued here, that cub should still be near the nest, right? Meng Shu did not detect the change in Yu Jingcheng's tone. He shook his head, a look of disdain and casualness appearing on his face, as if discussing a crushed ant. How could it possibly still be there? The situation was urgent. We had just knocked that little beast unconscious and stuffed it into a bag when this big one charged out like a madman. Carrying deadweight, we couldn't run fast at all. Meng Shu shrugged, stating as if it were the most natural thing. To save our lives, this old man couldn't care about that bounty anymore. Halfway, finding it troublesome to carry and fearing it might wake and cry out, attracting more spirit beasts, I simply struck with my palm, shattering its heart meridian, and casually tossed it into the roadside grass. At this, Meng Shu even clicked his tongue with some regret. What a pity about the 100,000 gold coin deposit. That little beast, though not high in years, truly had excellent quality. You said, what? Yu Jingcheng's voice abruptly interrupted Meng Shu's rambling. Yu Jingcheng slowly lowered his head, his gaze sharp as a blade, fixed intently on Meng Shu's indifferent old face. You killed it, merely because it was troublesome to carry. Meng Shu was taken aback, clearly not expecting such a strong reaction from Yu Jingcheng. He looked at Yu Jingcheng somewhat bewildered. Young friend, it was just a 400-year spirit beast. Killed is killed, what's the big fuss? If you fancy it, another day this old man can catch a few more to compensate you. Silence. Yu Jingcheng coldly spat out 2 words. That voice seemed to come from the depths of hell, carrying a bone-chilling coldness that instantly solidified the surrounding air. The original thought of taking these 2 under his wing, considering their reputations as Dragon Lord and Serpent Grandmother, completely vanished in this moment. Replacing it was pure killing intent. If it were other spirit beasts, it might be different. After all, Yu Jingcheng was reincarnated from a human, his identity wasn't that of a spirit beast. Spirit beasts kill each other too. For spirit masters to hunt spirit beasts for spirit rings is also natural. But that cub was a cub of the Golden Earth Dragon clan, Yu Jingcheng's kin. This behavior, in Yu Jingcheng's eyes, was an unforgivable capital offense. No wonder Iron Head had gone so berserk. The hatred for killing one's child is irreconcilable. Originally, I intended to give you a chance to live, even wanted to subdue you for my use. Yu Jingcheng slowly straightened his posture, the elegant and easygoing aura about him completely gone. In its place was a suffocating, tyrannical dragon aura. He looked at Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang, his eyes as if viewing 2 corpses. But it seems now, you are unworthy. Since you killed its child, then repay with your lives. Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang's faces changed dramatically, a strong sense of foreboding rising violently in their hearts. Young friend, what do you mean by this? For the sake of a few beasts, would you make an enemy of us, the peerless dragon serpent? Chao Tianxiang even tightened her grip on her serpent staff, shouting sharply. Yu Jingcheng did not answer. He merely lightly stomped his foot, lifting the bloodline suppression on the giant beast beneath him. Simultaneously, a cold command, transmitted clearly through the soul link, entered Iron Head's mind. Iron Head, the debtor must pay the debt. Tear them apart. Roar. As the suppression lifted, the Golden Earth Dragon King, which had been forcibly restraining its fury, finally erupted completely. Its pair of scarlet beast eyes were instantly filled with the flames of hatred. The child-killing enemy was right before its eyes. Moreover, with the king's permission. Boom. The earth cracked. The Golden Earth Dragon King's massive body shot forth like a cannonball, carrying an earth-shattering aura as it pounced towards the unprepared peerless dragon-serpent couple. Within the terrifying dragon roar, endless grief, indignation, and killing intent mingled, shaking the entire forest. No. Watching the sky-obscuring giant claw descend, Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang let out desperate screams. They never could have imagined that the young man, just chatting and laughing moments ago, could turn on them faster than flipping a page. Even more unimaginable was that the little beast they casually killed would become the spark for their demise today. Standing to the side, Douluo watched this scene, feeling his scalp tingle. He took a deep look at Yu Jingcheng standing expressionless atop the dragon head. The awe in his heart for this young lord instantly soared to its peak. Was this the young lord's code of conduct? Those who submit prosper, those who resist perish. Touch his reverse scale, and death is certain. Chapter 28. Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang die. Little brother Xiao Jin, a 97,000-year golden earth dragon. Accompanied by two screams that almost overlapped. Meng Shu and Chao Tianxiang didn't even have time to perform their spirit fusion technique before they were turned into meat paste under the claws of the enraged 60,000-year golden earth dragon king. The disparity in strength, coupled with their mental collapse, left them helpless before Ironhead's spiteful strike. They were as fragile as two thin sheets of paper. Douluo and Douluo Xin, father and son, stood on a tree trunk not far away, watching the tragic scene below. Their Adam's apples couldn't help but bob involuntarily. Although Douluo believed he could also kill these two, he definitely couldn't do it so cleanly and decisively. It was even more impossible for him to crush them with pure physical strength like this giant beast, which was filled with a primitive and violent beauty. What made their hearts race even more was that this golden earth dragon, which had just been terrifyingly powerful like a killing machine, immediately withdrew all its violent aura after dealing with the enemies. It turned its massive head, lowered it submissively, and gently rubbed its blood-stained snout against Yu Jingcheng's trouser leg. A low, woo-woo, sound came from its throat, as if it were seeking credit or perhaps expressing its grievances. Yu Jingcheng merely reached out with an indifferent expression and patted its hard forehead, as if he were comforting his own hunting dog. This scene, Douluo Xin felt his mouth go dry and couldn't help but whisper to his father. "Father, the sect master, can he really completely control such a vicious beast?" Douluo took a deep breath, the green light in his eyes flickering as he said in a low voice. "It's not just control, this is a kind of submission that comes from the depths of the soul. Exoner, it seems our sect master has more secrets than I imagined." Although Douluo was somewhat puzzled as to why Yu Jingcheng would kill so ruthlessly over a spirit beast cub, even to the point of exterminating the peerless dragon-snake couple. In his view, it was only natural for spirit masters to hunt spirit beasts, survival of the fittest was the law. But this didn't stop him from supporting Yu Jingcheng. Since they were on the same boat, Yu Jingcheng's will was their direction. Forget killing two spirit Douluo. Even if it were a titled Douluo, as long as Yu Jingcheng gave the order, Douluo would dare to release his poison. Yu Jingcheng comforted the emotionally agitated Iron Head. Then, he turned around and looked at the shocked and confused Douluo and his son. Yu Jingcheng sighed softly, the cold killing intent on his face gradually fading, replaced by a well-timed touch of sorrow and reminiscence. He knew he had to give these two a reasonable explanation. After all, as a human standing on the side of spirit beasts, if there wasn't a plausible reason, it would inevitably cause his subordinates to feel uneasy and think of him as an outsider. "Old poison, do you think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, or even being a bit cruel?" Yu Jingcheng stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze looking deep into the Douluo Great Forest, his tone low. Douluo quickly cupped his hands. This subordinate wouldn't dare. The sect master's actions have their own profound meaning. Since that peerless dragon-snake couple angered the sect master, their deaths are well deserved. Actually, this can be considered an old story. Yu Jingcheng shook his head and began the story he had already prepared. My teacher's spirit was the Golden Earth Dragon. Golden Earth Dragon spirit. Douluo was stunned. He had never heard of anyone awakening a Golden Earth Dragon spirit. As expected of a hidden expert, Yu Jingcheng's expression remained unchanged as he continued to fabricate. My teacher was obsessed with researching dragon-type spirits his entire life. Decades ago, he went deep into the Douluo Great Forest and formed a deep bond with the Golden Earth Dragon clan. At this point, a hint of warmth appeared in Yu Jingcheng's eyes. After I became his disciple at the age of 6, my teacher took me into the forest. You could say that half of my childhood was spent in the nests of the Golden Earth Dragons. Yu Jingcheng pointed at the feeding Iron Head, then at the place where Meng Shu had mentioned dumping the carcass, his voice becoming somewhat raspy. I used to ride on this big fellow's back when I was a child. And the cub killed by Meng Shu, by seniority, it would have had to call me, brother. In your eyes, they are spirit beasts, spirit rings, and resources. But in my eyes, they are elders who watched me grow up, partners who played with me, and family. Yu Jingcheng suddenly turned his head, his eyes burning as he stared at Du Gubo, questioning. Old poison, if someone killed Du Shen for profit, what would you do? Hearing this, Du Gubo's body shook violently, and a terrifying killing intent instantly erupted from his eyes as he blurted out. I would make him regret ever coming into this world. I would kill his entire family and exterminate his 9 generations. Exactly. Yu Jingcheng nodded, his expression solemn. That Meng Shu couple should never have touched my family. So killing them was both to avenge that cub and to tell the world. Anyone who touches Yu Jingcheng's people, whether human or beast, will be executed no matter how far away they are. After hearing this, the confusion on Du Gubo and Du Shen's faces completely dissipated, replaced by a sudden realization and deep respect. So that was it. That explains everything. No wonder the sect master could command golden earth dragons, and no wonder he had such pure dragon might. It turns out he lived among dragons since he was a child. This didn't make them think Yu Jingcheng was an outsider. Instead, they felt the sect master was a man of great sentiment and clear about his debts and grudges. A leader who dares to draw his sword against a powerful enemy for his family is truly worth following. The sect master is a man of great sentiment. This old man admires you. Du Gubo bowed deeply, his tone extremely sincere. It was this old man who was narrow-minded. Since those two killed the sect master's family, dying here was indeed letting them off easy. Du Shen was also moved, secretly vowing in his heart that he must protect the people and things the sect master cares about in the future, because this master would truly fight for his own people. Seeing the two of them completely convinced, Yu Jingcheng secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This lie had been successfully rounded off. Not only did it explain Iron Head's origin, but it also established a sentimental persona for himself. More importantly, if he showed any other abilities related to the Dragon Clan in the future, he could pin them on that non-existent teacher. 3 birds with 1 stone. Alright, the past is the past. Yu Jingcheng waved his hand and said calmly. Now that the trouble is resolved, we should get down to business. Originally, I planned to wait for Du Gubo to break through to titled Douluo before taking him to find the golden tortoise. But since the Golden Earth Dragon Clan still recognizes me, this makes things easier. Yu Jingcheng thought to himself. Xiao Jin also has 97,000 years of cultivation. If I give it an immortal herb, its breakthrough to the 100,000-year limit will be set in stone. In the future, I will have an enforcer in the Stardow Great Forest. Xiao Jin was the second strongest in the Golden Earth Dragon Clan. After Yu Jingcheng's human transformation, it became the first. And it obeyed Yu Jingcheng unconditionally. As for why, because the Golden Earth Dragon King that Yu Jingcheng transmigrated into was its biological older brother. Chapter 29. The Immortal Herb 8-Petaled Immortal Orchid, Little Gold, help you break through to the 100,000-year mark. Yu Jingcheng rode on Iron Head's neck, carrying Du Gubo and Du Shen as they headed towards the territory of the Golden Earth Dragon Clan. 100,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King. The corner of Yu Jingcheng's mouth lifted slightly. No one understood the combat power of a 100,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King better than him. Back when Yu Jingcheng had first transmigrated, in order to test the limits of this body. On a whim, he barged into the Lake of Life. The Sky Azure Bull Python, Da Ming, hailed as the Forest Overlord, and the Titan Giant Ape, Ming, with his immense strength. Those 200,000-year spirit beasts joined forces, yet he had rubbed their faces in the dirt. The Golden Earth Dragon Clan was originally the pinnacle of defense and strength among the sub-dragon species. Coupled with the soul enhancement brought by his transmigration, and his precise control over skills, those two brothers were simply no match for him. Yu Jingcheng had possessed a domain back then. Open black lens bracket light domain close black lens bracket. Both the Sky Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape possessed domains. He, 100,000-year Golden Earth Dragon King, having a domain, was perfectly reasonable, right? The value of 100,000-year spirit beast in Douluo 1 was still quite high, but it became lackluster later on. If I hadn't been in a hurry to go set things up in Sunset Forest back then, I'm afraid the Lake of Life would have long since changed its surname to Yu. What would those two little beasts have to do with it then? Yu Jingcheng had even considered directly leading the entire Golden Earth Dragon clan to migrate over and occupy that feng shui treasure land. But it's not too late now. Once his strength recovers, or little gold breaks through to the 100,000-year mark, the right to speak in the Stardow Great Forest would eventually be reclaimed. As for the vicious beasts like DTN beneath the Lake of Life, Yu Jingcheng wasn't worried in the slightest. After all, when the original Sky Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape were surrounded and killed, hanging by a thread, DTN and the other vicious beasts hadn't even let out a single peep. Thinking of this, Yu Jingcheng turned his head to look at Dugu Bo and Dugu Shin. Old Poison, since the trouble is resolved, it's time we discuss serious matters. Yu Jingcheng pointed at the giant dragon beneath his feet and said with a laugh. You are now only one spirit ring away from being promoted to a titled Douluo. But this 9th spirit ring is crucial. It would be a real shame to just make do with any random spirit beast. Hearing this, Dugu Bo let out a bitter laugh. The sect master speaks truly. It's just that high-aged spirit beasts, especially ones suitable for this old man's poison attribute, are truly hard to come by. As long as it doesn't conflict with this old man's poison attribute, even a 90,000-year spirit beast would suffice. Many titled Douluos's 9th spirit rings were only 70 or 80,000 years old. A 90,000-year 9th ring configuration. In this era, it wasn't considered high, but it certainly wasn't low either. No need for such trouble. Yu Jingcheng waved his hand, his tone as casual as if he were talking about going to the market to buy groceries. I know there's a poison flood dragon in the Stardow Great Forest, over 90,000 years old, whose combat power rivals that of a 93rd ranked titled Douluo. After we go to the Golden Earth Dragon clan territory, I'll ask the current Golden Earth Dragon clan chief to take us to hunt that poison flood dragon. Yu Jingcheng's original plan was merely to take Dugu Bo to find a slightly weaker 90,000-year spirit beast, and rely on Dugu Bo's poison to slowly wear it down to death. Although he knew about that poison flood dragon, he hadn't dared to entertain any wild ideas about it. But now, since the Golden Earth Dragon clan still listened to him, things were much simpler. Hearing this, the eyes of Dugu Bo and his son Dugu Shin instantly widened, their breathing becoming rapid. Having a group of Golden Earth Dragons help with the hunt, this treatment was practically an emperor-level luxury. Sect Master, are you serious? Dugu Bo's voice trembled slightly. When have I ever spoken empty words? Yu Jingcheng gave a faint smile and gently patted the iron head beneath him. Iron Head, lead the way. Back to the clan grounds. Roar. Iron Head let out an excited roar towards the sky, his dragon wings flapping mightily, leaving behind an afterimage. ... Half an hour later. We're here. Following Yu Jingcheng's command, Iron Head slowly descended into a massive valley. The moment they landed, roar, 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 overlapping dragon roars erupted from all directions. Dugu Bo and Dugu Shin's expressions changed drastically. They stood back to back, their spirits instantly manifesting, vigilantly watching their surroundings. From the cliffs and caves surrounding the valley, one enormous Golden Earth Dragon after another emerged. Looking around, there were easily over 100. Among them, 20 or 30 were of the 10,000-year level. The terrifying pressure they collectively emitted made Dugu Bo feel suffocated. This is the foundation of the Golden Earth Dragon clan. A layer of cold sweat broke out on Dugu Bo's forehead. If these giant dragons swarmed them, forget him being a spirit Douluo, even a titled Douluo who came here would meet their end. However, the next moment, a scene he would never forget for the rest of his life occurred. These originally ferocious-looking giant dragons, upon seeing Yu Jingcheng, the fierce light in their eyes instantly dissipated. Replacing it was a nearly fanatical affection and reverence. They lowered their proud heads one after another, prostrating themselves on the ground, emitting low whimpers towards Yu Jingcheng's direction, as if welcoming their king. Dugu Bo was completely dumbfounded. If controlling a single iron head could still be explained before, then this scene of over 100 giant dragons collectively submitting utterly overturned his worldview. Even if Yu Jingcheng had lived here for a few years, it was impossible for these golden earth dragons to recognize him as their master, right? Just at that moment, rumble, the earth suddenly shook violently. An aura several times more terrifying than all the spirit beasts present erupted from the deepest part of the valley. That aura was so powerful it even caused a brief stagnation in the spirit power within Douluo's body. A 90,000-year golden earth dragon. Douluo exclaimed in shock, his face turning as pale as paper. A behemoth, dozens of meters long, its entire body covered in scales that seemed forged from pure gold, emerged with heavy steps. With each step it took, it left a deep footprint in the ground. Its pair of golden vertical pupils flickered with intelligent light, supremely majestic. It was precisely the current acting clan chief of the Golden Earth Dragon clan, also Yu Jingcheng's own younger brother, Little Gold. 97,000 years of cultivation. Only a single step away from the 100,000-year mark. Seeing this colossal beast, Douluo and Shin almost instinctively wanted to flee. This was a super spirit beast nearing the 100,000-year mark. However, Yu Jingcheng smiled. He leapt down from Iron Head's back and walked straight towards that terrifying beast. Sect Master, be careful, Shin instinctively shouted in terror. But the next second, his voice caught in his throat. That supremely majestic Golden Earth Dragon King, upon seeing Yu Jingcheng, actually revealed human-like excitement and grievance in its huge eyes. It rushed quickly to Yu Jingcheng, but did not attack. Instead, like a big dog seeing its owner, it lowered its massive head and gently nudged Yu Jingcheng's chest with its scale-covered nose. Whimpering coquettishly from its mouth, Yu Jingcheng reached out, embracing the huge dragon head, a trace of softness flashing in his eyes. Little Gold had recognized him. Long time no see, Little Gold, Yu Jingcheng silently said in his heart. On the surface, he turned his head and explained to the already petrified Douluo and his son. Don't be afraid, this is the current clan chief of the Golden Earth Dragon clan. It recognizes me. After Douluo regained his composure, he suddenly understood. Sect Master, your spirit is the Holy Dragon of Light, and Golden Earth Dragons possess Holy Dragon of Light bloodline. Their submission to your bloodline is perfectly reasonable. He really knows how to fill in the blanks. Yu Jingcheng took out a jade box. The immortal herb, 8-petaled immortal orchid. Little Gold, this is your big brother's gift to you. Yu Jingcheng transmitted his voice through his soul, stuffing the immortal herb into Little Gold's mouth. Eat it, and break through to the 100,000-year mark. From now on, we brothers will call the shots in this Stardew Great Forest. Chapter 30 Xiao Jin's Breakthrough, 100,000-Year Golden Earth Dragon King. Same light domain. Gulp. Without hesitation, Xiao Jin's massive tongue swept out, swallowing the 8-petaled immortal orchid along with its exquisite jade box in one gulp. Its trust in Yu Jingcheng was etched into its very bones. Even if it were poison, as long as Big Brother gave it, it would swallow it without hesitation. Moreover, as soon as this immortal herb entered its mouth, it transformed into a cool yet majestic medicinal power that instantly flowed throughout its entire body. Roar! Xiao Jin let out a deafening roar, its voice filled with surprise and comfort. Its aura, which had been somewhat stagnant due to being stuck at a bottleneck, now began to climb frantically like an ignited volcano. 97,100 years. 97,500 years. 98,000 years. Douluo and Shin, father and son, stood to the side, their eyes nearly popping out of their heads. They watched helplessly as the aura of this gargantuan creature surged at an inconceivable speed. The surrounding heaven and earth spiritual chi seemed to be pulled by something, converging frantically toward Xiao Jin and forming a massive vortex of spiritual chi visible to the naked eye. Is this the power of an immortal herb? Douluo's Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed hard. Although he knew the herbs Yu Jingcheng gave were extraordinary, he never expected they could cause such a massive change in a spirit beast of over 90,000 years in such a short time. It's at 99,000 years. Shin's voice trembled as he pointed at Xiao Jin and cried out. The golden scales on Xiao Jin's body began to radiate a dazzling light, and a faint, holy white glow actually appeared on the edges of the originally pure golden scales. That was a sign of bloodline evolution. The 8-petaled immortal orchid's medicinal properties were gentle and mellow, best at strengthening the foundation and removing impurities. For a spirit beast like Xiao Jin that relied on physical strength and bloodline purity, it was practically a tailor-made supplement. In just a few moments, Xiao Jin's aura broke through the 99,900-year mark, directly approaching the legendary 100,000-year threshold. Boom! An invisible wave centered on Xiao Jin suddenly rippled outward. Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin felt a tightness in their chests, as if they had been struck by a mountain, and they staggered back several steps before steadying themselves. Immediately after, a brilliant and eye-catching golden pillar of light shot up into the sky, piercing the clouds. Within that pillar of light, Xiao Jin's massive body slowly floated upward. The originally somewhat clunky body of the earth dragon seemed to undergo a sublimation at this moment. Its scales became tighter and more refined, and its streamlined muscles were filled with an explosive sense of power. More importantly, the dragon wings on its back became broader, with golden runes faintly flowing upon the wing membranes. A holy, majestic, and inviolable aura swept across the entire valley like a tidal wave. 100,000 years. A true 100,000-year spirit beast. It's done just like that. Douluo Bo muttered to himself, feeling his worldview shatter into pieces. 100,000-year spirit beast. That was a legendary existence comparable to a titled Douluo, or even stronger. A chasm that many spirit beasts could never cross in their entire lives was breached as easily as eating and drinking under a single herb from Yu Jingcheng. Creating a 100,000-year spirit beast, this level of capability is simply appalling. Douluo Shin was also in a daze, his awe for Yu Jingcheng reaching its peak. However, it wasn't over yet. The moment Xiao Jin broke through, it suddenly opened its eyes and roared toward the heavens. Ang! This dragon's cry was no longer the previous low roar, but clear and high-pitched, like a true dragon's howl. Following that, with Xiao Jin as the center, the space within a 1,000-meter radius was instantly dyed golden. Within this golden space, all the plants seemed to be nourished, growing frantically. The originally chaotic spirit power in the air was also instantly purified, becoming incredibly pure and filled with a holy aura of light. Douluo Bo and Douluo Shin felt a warmth all over their bodies, and the circulation speed of the spirit power in their bodies actually quickened by several points out of nowhere. Even the pain from the backfire of the snake venom that had been plaguing them seemed to lessen considerably under the radiance of this golden light. This is... Douluo Bo's pupils shrank suddenly, and he cried out in shock. A domain. An innate domain. That's right. The domain Xiao Jin awakened was the same light domain as Yu Jingcheng's. Within this domain, all attributes of allied units are increased, and the recovery speed of spirit power is accelerated. Moreover, it has an extremely strong purifying and suppressing effect on all negative statuses. Conversely, enemies within the domain will be burned and suppressed by the power of light, with their strength greatly diminished. This was simply a divine skill born for the battlefield. Ha ha ha. Good, good, good. Yu Jingcheng looked at Xiao Jin floating in midair and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Although he had expected it, seeing Xiao Jin awaken the exact same open black lens bracket light domain close black lens bracket he had back then still filled his heart with joy. Xiao Jin, well done. Yu Jingcheng strode forward and patted Xiao Jin's massive claw that had just landed. Xiao Jin lowered its head, withdrew the pressure of the domain, and affectionately rubbed against Yu Jingcheng's palm, its eyes full of gratitude and attachment. It could feel that its current power was stronger than ever before. Furthermore, some vague inherited memories seemed to have appeared in its mind, knowledge about how to use this power. Big brother, thank you. A slightly immature but joy-filled voice rang directly in Yu Jingcheng's mind. Speaking in human tongue, a standard operation for 100,000-year spirit beast. Titan giant ape. Roar roar roar. Yu Jingcheng smiled slightly and responded through mental force. We're brothers, no need for such formalities. When you get even stronger in the future, we'll go beat that Sky Azure Bull Python and Titan giant ape into submission together and reclaim the lake of life to use as our bathtub. I'll do whatever Big Brother says. Xiao Jin responded excitedly. After calming Xiao Jin down, Yu Jingcheng turned around. Looking at the already dumbfounded Douluo Bo and his son, a meaningful smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Old poison, how about it? Is the strength of my Golden Earth Dragon clan enough to enter your Dharma eye? Douluo Bo took a deep breath, trying hard to calm his turbulent emotions, and said with a bitter smile. Sect Master must be joking. With such a terrifying existence standing guard, let alone this old man, even if the Spirit Hall's Supreme Pontiff were to come in person, they would probably have to think twice. It's just. Douluo glanced at the majestic Xiao Jin, then at the over 100 golden earth dragons watching intently around them, his tone carrying a hint of hesitation. Sect Master, you just said you wanted to help this old man hunt that 90,000-year poison flood dragon. Now this, Lord Dragon King has just broken through, and his realm is not yet stable. Does he need to rest for a few days? Although Xiao Jin had broken through to 100,000 years and its strength had surged. After all, it had just broken through, and Douluo was worried its foundation was unstable. If something went wrong in battle, the loss would outweigh the gain.